Hello, everybody. Welcome to the World Riichi League Finals. We are watching the US edition um, here in this early morning in Japan and afternoon, evening in the rest of the world. And with me, commentating, is Nathaniel. Hello. Oh, you're muted. Okay, now you're not muted. Hello.
I was watching the European finals earlier. That was quite exciting. Some really cool stuff happening. Congratulations to the four finalists, Valentine, Jeremy, Alexander, and Christian, and to the winner from the Netherlands.
Yeah,
Excellent
Christian
showing.
took it down, and it will be attending WRC 2028 in New York City.
And now to find out who will be moving on from the US. Of course, we have the quarterfinals in action as we speak, although a number of those games are starting, results are starting to trickle in, and we'll get to see who our first table is going to be for the semifinal pretty soon. But I was looking at the lineup for the games today, and it is stacked. I see names that I recognize as quite strong players and tournament regulars for the Open circuit in the US, as well as the World Riichi League majors and minors that have been happening all year long in 2025. And of course, these finals are coming from the accumulated points from all of those minors and majors of the last year. We're finally getting to see who will claim that seat.
Yeah, so they play in these live events throughout the year, and they're all over the US, right? And last year was the first year, I think, that they had, wait, did it start in 20? How did people earn? Because we did have a final table, or that we had the US finals and the European finals last year in March. How did the people win, like, their way into those finals? Do you remember?
Wasn't there I remember participating in an online WRL
Okay.
event, and
So the
the
live
2025 season was a bit more cumulative over the course of the year. And then this year, they're running a streak-based system that I happened to participate in one of those online majors as a substitute player, and then I'll be playing in a tournament in Texas that is also qualifying as a World Riichi League qualifying tournament. So if the substitute games count, then technically I'll get 16 games and maybe I'll have a shot.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, so they're happening like all over the place in the US, also in Europe. So in Europe, they usually have like 2-day tournaments and it's one city and people travel to it. And then in the US, it could happen even simultaneously with minors and majors. I think Sparrow's Nest is now running one every month, like alternating months, minors and majors. And the minor is 4 games and major is 8 games, as Amy explained for us during the European finals. And
That's right.
yeah, so you what am I don't
A
know.
lot,
I don't know
a
what to
lot of those,
say.
a lot of those tournaments are happening in new places this year. Actually, I know the next World Riichi League event is happening in Cincinnati, in Ohio. There's going to be a minor there. That's the first time they'll have held a tournament of this nature. The last one was an online event that also had a number of Canadian players, which was quite cool to have the chance to play against some strong players from Canada. In the future, there's also going to be a World Riichi League major in Philadelphia, and then, of course, a number of minors in more places. I mentioned the Texas tournament as well, so I think Texas has held a minor already this year, as well as a major later, and then Philadelphia will be the first time that they're holding a World Riichi League major. So a lot of new places this year picking up league games. It's really cool.
Well, that's awesome. And there's a lot of World Reach pros playing in these events. Just to cut in here, another place where you can play with a lot of World Reach pros. The M League World Reach 2026 US Tour happening in Las Vegas this month, just in a few weeks. Oh my God, it's just in a few weeks. I have so much to
I
do.
can't actually believe this because we've been talking about this for quite a while. It's been such a big announcement that we've been anticipating all year long.
I know. We
And
started this announcement, this particular poster came out in January.
yeah, and it's finally happening. I feel like I was looking recently at the number of tickets that I could buy to the events, and they were limited. So it'll be fantastic to have a full event for this. But I think there may still be a couple tickets left. So if
For
you,
Vegas, we actually have a really big capacity, so you
oh,
can definitely
nice.
get in Vegas. Um, Up until I'm not sure when the cutoff date is, so you definitely want to try and do that like this week or next week. But the after hours event is already has a waiting list, and the New York events I think are just like a couple tickets left for one event, and the other one is sold out. But it's such an amazing lineup. Yoshihiro Matsumoto from Abema, Shibuya Abemas, Mari Takamiya from Konami Mahjong Fight Club, Kotaro Uchikawa from X-Footing Kazan, Sayako Okada from Kadokawa Sakura Knights, Megumu Aikawa from Earth Jets, and Sho Shiratori also from Shibuya Abemas. And those two are like best friends and rivals. Which I think that's how it always works out. Your best friend in Mahjong is generally your rival. You always want to like finish above them, but then you also always talk Mahjong with them.
Yeah, honestly, that's true. I feel like most of the players that actually, I'm kind of mahjong friends with everybody, but that means that the games that I have against them are extra, have a little extra vibe to it. It's
Everybody's
very
your
fun.
rival then.
Exactly.
There's also going to be a reception on the 26th, the night before. These player bags are just like stacked. We haven't actually sent out the announcement, but we've been given the okay to announce that we've actually. So I'm gonna just do it now, and anyone who wants to get mad at me, you can get mad at me. I don't know. Got the go ahead, but you know what? This is the World Reach League finals. We deserve a big announcement, I think. So M League has actually designed playing cards just for this event. Like you can only get them if you play. There's one trading card you can only get if you play like in the tournament, and then one you can only get at the after hours event. So it's kind of crazy. It's specifically designed just for this event. And these trading cards are a really big deal with Mahjong pros lately. So the fact that we get our very own just for this event is just insane to me. I'm like, God, I'm actually working on this event. It's kind of awesome. And
Exclusive Vegas M-Link trading cards, Vegas event trading cards. That's kind of crazy.
yeah, and so we have like different trading cards that you can get at the different events. But I think they've made two designs for us that we have been given the go ahead to announce it by M League. I just haven't got the go ahead from the tournament organizers, so I might get in big trouble. Who knows?
Get your
But
super special Gen spoiler. Every stream we have one. Today we had a super fancy one.
yeah, that's what I'm famous for. So we also have more announcements coming out next week about things that are going to happen at the tournament. We have like special, everything's been designed like for this event. We have, like autograph boards, like specifically designed just for this event with the M League logo on it, the WRC logo on it, of course, the event name, and lots of other things that you can get. We have gifts from JPML, we have gifts from Albon. Sayaka has designed a sticker for Skatebon International. Of course, Sayaka and I are going to be emceeing the event. And so everybody gets the sticker. We have those goodie bags that are going to have all of these in it. And also, Super Saki in the chat is a fan of Nathaniel.
Oh,
Nathaniel,
fantastic.
I'm your fan.
Our matchups are going to be great as well. Rivals automatically. Friendly rivals.
Fan and friend. And foe, apparently. Besides these M Leaguers, which you will never see like in an event that you will play in Japan even. You won't get these six pros all together in a single event, I don't think. Maybe they were in the WRC last year. That's about the level event you have to get this many M Leaguers in one room. Also Yumi Otani, who of course was formerly on Segesami Phoenix, and the first ever world champion, Hiroshi Yamai. Kotaro Uchikawa, the reigning champion. I'll be commentating. Also, Yusong is going to be coming and commentating. Also playing a bit, and commentating a bit. So I'll have like a full influencer experience with Yusong. Just like so much. It's still gonna be like a 3 day summer camp. I feel like mahjong summer camp. That's what I feel like it's gonna be like. Like we're not gonna be sleeping. We're gonna be like just so much fun and mahjong and awesomeness.
I mean, honestly, why would you sleep when you have so much to do? You're not gonna have time.
I know, I'm not gonna have time. There's gonna be a media event. If you know anyone in media who wants to come check out mahjong and maybe cover it for some sort of magazine or newspaper, then DM me somewhere or contact the what's it called? World Reach organization, worldreach.org, something like that. We'll post it later. Contact there. They have a contact form, I believe, or an email that you can contact if you have any. We can definitely accommodate media. We'll do some demonstrations there and also M-Leaguer like photos and things like that. The reception is going to be, I think, like participants get a drink ticket or something. And then of course the tournament, and of course you get photos with the M-Leaguers and autographs with the M-Leaguers, and so there's so much stuff. There's so much stuff. It's gonna be so cool. Okay.
Cannot wait. Cannot wait. Happening in just a few weeks, as you were saying.
Yeah. I can't believe it's happening. Oh my god. I don't know if I'm gonna sleep before then because I have so much I have to do for it.
I already don't sleep before events anyway. My body just refuses to do that, so it's normal. It's normal.
It's normal. Okay. I'm also gonna try and make it to the pool in Vegas. I'm gonna bring a swimsuit and go to the pool for a few hours.
Nice.
Speaking of World Reach Champions, the winner of today's event also gets a seat in the World Reach Championship in New York City in 2028, which is also amazing because, oh my god, it's so hard to get a seat in the WRC right now. Like, long gone are the days where you could kind of sign up. You can't just sign up anymore. You have to qualify.
Thinking back to the first time that the tournament was held in the US, definitely had my shot to get in as a relatively unknown player from the US, but nowadays it is pretty high ticket item.
Yeah, I was able to play in Vienna even, but I think I'll probably be commentating again for this one. We'll see if I qualify or not. But we will need commentary, and man, do I have plans for the 2028 WRC commentary.
I'll bet.
If I can just get people if I can talk people into doing the things I want to do, it's going to be also an amazing commentary experience. All right, I think that we're just about done with the last game in the quarterfinals.
Great. And we know exactly who to blame for the delay in that last game finishing. Unfortunately for all of us viewers that are anticipating the start of the semifinals, in one of the games, the US player that has hit 10 dan on Tenho was the last dealer and in one of the games, and so he obviously was repeating as much as he could. I think we were up to 5 homba now. Last I checked, there were 5 hombas, so definitely making a bid to move on to the next round and making things very interesting in that series. But I think that outside of the delay, they will have wrapped things up, and there may be a small break as the players prepare for their semifinal games, but I'm looking forward to seeing who it's going to be.
Yeah.
We
It's
are seeing some
rarely
scores
happens.
trickling in. Is it all right if we talk about those?
I'm not sure. I think it was said to keep it quiet. Keep it
I'm seeing it on the official
quiet.
spreadsheet
If
as
it's on the
well.
official spreadsheet, I think we're good to go. If
All
all of the
right.
scores are in, if all the game two scores are
I
in,
do see all the game 2 scores in.
okay, then I think it's okay.
All right. So on table 1, we had Dylan Zhang, Brian Wen, Art Hinano, and Rasi Yoshida. A stacked table, of course. I'm a little more familiar with Brian Wen as he is in the American Riichi Mahjong League. He has hit 10 Dan on Tenho. I've also had the opportunity to play against Rasi as well from New York. And Art Hirano is a player that I really want to play against, although I haven't had the chance to in person. I've heard great things about him as well. In the first game, Dylan got off to an insane start, a raw score of 57,700, the highest total, and was looking very strong for advancement in the next round. And it looks like in game number 2, managed to get a 3rd place, so a relatively stable placement. And it looks like Dylan will be moving on as the top seed from the first table. And of course, let me just check. Yep, the 2nd place player from that table was actually Art, with a 2nd place in the first game and a 2nd place in, first place in the second game. Was very close as Brian tried to make that comeback in all last. Just fell a couple thousand points short in the end. So very intense finish, but Art will be one of the tables, making one of the tables for the semifinals. Congratulations to those two from table 1. In table 2, we had CY, we had Dustin. CY, of course, from New York, Dustin from the DC area, Yishan from Philadelphia. And Felix, a player I'm not as familiar with. It is definitely a really intense table for this one. And Dustin came out ahead in game number 1 with a 49,000 point first place. So very strong conditions to advance. And the second place was CY. And it became a bit topsy-turvy at the end as the 3rd place finisher from the first game ended up nabbing the first place in game 2, which means the conditions are going to be extremely close, and the 2 players advancing are dependent on the other placements. Dustin, though, took a 2nd place in that game 2, and with a 1 and a 2 to his name, did confirm first place overall in that series. And the 2nd place went to Felix. For that first place in game number 2 was just enough to get the 2nd seed moving into the semifinals. So congratulations to Dustin and Felix for advancement in table 2. All right, table 3 was another just monstrous table, kind of East Coast focus, I feel. We had Andres from New York, and Jonathan F also from the East Coast, I believe, Halun, and Quincy from New York. And this was an incredible first game. 1st and 3rd place were separated by less than 3,000 points. Quincy took the first with 42,500, Halun 2nd with 41,800, and Jonathan the 3rd place with 39,600. So it was a bit of a shootout between those 3. And that meant that conditions were going to be extremely tight. Once again, moving into game 2, your top 2 finishers are probably going to qualify. And top place went to Jonathan, who took 3rd in game 1. And the 2nd place went to Quincy, who took 1st in game 1. And so those 2 managed to confirm their placement into the next round. And I have to say, I was watching a little bit of that game as we were warming up. And Jonathan got off to a very early start with a Mangnan win, and followed that up with an insane hand that didn't actually get there. Had a Honitsu Dora nonsense, and it got stymied by a Kokushi. A Kokushi was holding all the winning tiles, and so it looked like he could even have a stronger start, but couldn't quite get that hand going. Did not matter in the end, did confirm the first place. So congratulations to Jonathan and Quincy. We're moving on to the next round. And finally, we had table 4, a table that I was watching closely. The first game was, actually, let me mention the players. It was Max from the DC area, Max from Oklahoma, and Wenchen, of course, pro player from the West Coast, California, and Kevin, another strong player from New York, former Armel A1 leaguer. And Kevin got off to a great start in game one. Haneman Sumo all but locked up the series for him. It was tight between third and second and fourth for the other players, but it was DC Max that took the second place in that game, and Wenchen stuck in fourth place at 21,800. However, game two, complete reversal. Wenchen, as the dealer, found a Riichi Tsumo San Anko Dora, some other nonsense there, and Ura-san for the Baimon, 24,000 points, all but locks up an advancement. And I didn't catch the end of that game, but it looks like he did indeed convert a monstrous game two into a first place, and did end up advancing despite eating a fourth in the first game with positive 12.7. And Kevin, the player who won first in our first game, did hang on to the second place in game number two, and so did advance as well. Although I hear that the conditions were actually quite intense at the end, certain placement changes could have had an effect, as Kevin actually barely eked out the second in that game, but will advance to the next round. So congratulations to Wenchen and Kevin for advancing to our semifinals. And with that, our semifinal tables are indeed set.
They are set. They have not started yet because the people from the last game need a well-deserved break. But it looks like they're ready to go, so that means we will have a 5-minute delay. In the chat, Brian Wen has previously won a qualifier seat to Tokyo. Forget when. I think that was the North American Open that Brian won.
Yeah, the North American Open. The winner of that event did earn a direct qualification seat, and Brian had an incredible run in that tournament and ended up qualifying for WRC 2025 through that tournament alone.
And we have somebody in the chat who actually played. Wong? Wong? Is there somebody whose last name is Wong? Fun. I can read a little bit of the name.
Someone writes, there are so many Ura a lot in... Oh, Wenchen writes...
that's Wenchen, right? That's Wenchen writing? Oh.
Yeah, actually, so Wenchen won the Ura-san in that Baimon hand, and then on the next dealership, I believe it was Oklahoma Max's dealership, Kevin had an early Riichi Dora one and got chased twice, once by the dealer and once by a non-dealer. And Kevin did end up slewing that hand. Riichi Tsumo Dora Ura-san. Found the Ura-san as well. So there were indeed a lot of Ura at that table.
Wenchen, that's how you write your name. How did I not know that? It is Wong. Okay. I got the last name. I didn't actually connect the last name pronunciation in English. So that's Wenchen. Cool. Hi, Wenchen. This is Jen. I guess you can see my face. I thought, at first I thought it was somebody writing that Wenchen got a lot of Uradora. But also Wenchen got a lot of Uradora. Is that
right? That is also true. It's an Ura happy table.
All right, so they have started. I can't see the games yet. So, I can see. Okay, I can see the game now. So I'm just going to bring it up on the screen, but it will take a few minutes to start because we will be watching on a delay.
Gives us a moment to anticipate just how these players are going to be attacking each other.
Okay, please.
And which game are we going to be watching first?
I'm going to be watching Wenchen's game first.
Oh, let's go.
Okay.
So just looking at
the last name in.
Yeah, looking at the tables. The two tables are going to be Dylan Chung from our first table, Felix Young from our second table, Quincy Huang from our third table, and Wenjin Wang from our fourth table. And then our second semifinal will be Art Hirano from table 1, Dustin Rees from table 2, Jonathan Fung from table 3, and Kevin from table 4. And there's a little mixing happening here. For the first place table players from a couple of the tables are playing the second place players from a couple of the other tables, and lots of mixing happening. So every player is going to get a fair shot against some new opposition.
And Hiro
It looks
is
like
also in the chat. Welcome, welcome, everybody.
it's going to be pretty easy to recognize a couple of these players. Oh, I see you've got it up there. Quincy at least is recognizable. I'm familiar with Silent Rain as well, having played or watched him in the American Riichi Mahjong League for quite a while. And the other two handles are new to me, but they've made the finals, so I know these players are strong. It should be an excellent match.
All right, I think I spelled Dylan correctly, right? I think that was the
Yes.
spelling part. Okay. So Felix is going to be TPD in the south seat, and Dylan is Aster in the north seat. Oh, it's Tenho. It's actually Ronron. I know it's the same software as Tenho, but this is the JPML. I guess you can call it kind of a skin, but it's actually like a different network as well. So
yeah, one of the main differences is that you get the images. If you're playing against pro players, you'll see the pro image, and for certain events, team images as well.
yeah, we do have the Roddle coming up. You guys can sign up for the Roddle. The Roddle has been announced. The World Riichi Online Team League. And while
Sorry,
we're waiting, sorry.
A lot of people are really excited about this upcoming online team league. I've already seen some people working out what their teams are going to be, and of course, you can submit a logo for your team. It's also a cool part of the event.
Interested in Ronron? Ronron is the JPML online client. Lots and lots of pros from, I believe. Oh, there it goes. From JPML, NPM, and Mahjong Union. And I think RMU as well, so I don't really see a whole lot of RMU pros playing.
That's right.
Okay, so we're gonna watch this group for game 1, and we'll watch the other table for game 2. So don't worry, you will get to see everybody at least in one game, and then we will watch both of the final table games.
So Quincy starting out as our first dealer. East pair already in hand, double tone available. Green Dragon is adorable. We're getting early Riichi from Wenchen already. Fantastic weight with the Chun uncle. Riichi Chun, 6'9" so. And looks tough to beat. No door in the hand, but you never know what's going to flip underneath, should it be one.
I also want to say, we talked about the tour at the beginning of the stream. I just wanted to post the link there. If you're interested still in signing up for the US tour, registration is still open, and you will get to play with an M-Leaguer, take pictures with M-Leaguers, get autographs from M-Leaguers, buy M-League merchandise. Lots and lots of stuff.
Jen, you've played in a lot of tournaments. How do you feel as the first dealer seeing a third turn Riichi with Tuso 7-pin 3-mon discards?
I always feel bad as first dealer, so
automatically negative vibes.
Yeah, it's kind of my worst position. I feel like I have the worst results in that position. I really like to be in the west seat first, so, and of course that's the player who reached in turn 3, Wenchen. So
Yeah,
jealous.
really interesting spot though for Quincy is finding a path to actually fight the sand. And that's one of the things about this early Riichi is sometimes there's just not enough defensive capability and you end up just fighting. Quincy one away from even potentially Tanyao and Sanshoku 4-5-6 in all three suits could be a big dealer hand chase. Could call here for Tempai, will do so. Unfortunately, did not get the 4-pin, but waiting on the safe 4 and 7. So the 4 so comes out from Felix. So a little snipe there from Quincy for 1500 plus the stick. And that third turn Riichi not paying out.
Yeah, and that is a great strategy to wait for something that's in the discards of the Reach player, the player that is getting the most attention. Just from one chi, it's not going to tip a lot of players off that you're already Tempai. Although against the Reach, it does look a little bit more like Tempai. Yeah, June, I will be in Vegas as well. I'll be commentating, but I will also be on the floor, emceeing, and yeah, anyone is welcome to take a picture with me and get my autograph.
I'm sure some folks out there will be seeking that autograph. All right, well, Quincy will maintain the dealership once again, 8 Mondora this time around. And, well, picks one up here. Still a lot of work to do in the sand, chewing through the honors currently. See if he gets to use that Dora. On the right, Felix did start out with an Ankh of the West, if I recall, and reasonable shapes around. So, especially if Felix can draw that 7 Mon to connect to the Dora, will be looking very strong. Across the table, it looks like this could be some sort of PF type hand with Ipeiko if you can draw the 7 Mon as well, and draw around the 5-pin, create another sequence there. On the left, are really natural looking shapes for Dylan, but the Kanchan shapes do have some work to do. 6 Mon is a great draw. Maybe we can work towards Itsu. By the way, Quincy did pair up the East. Once again. We did see in the last round he did have to give that up in order to fight against that third turn Riichi, but maybe can make use of it this time around. A little bit of a slower hand.
Thank you, Blender. I really appreciate you adding this information in the chat for us. It's really helpful. Yeah, we will have copies of my book as well. There will be copies on sale. If anyone has my book already, they can bring it, and I'll sign it, of course. I really appreciate that. That's so sweet. Thank you.
Quincy pairs up the Dora. Still hasn't seen the second copy of the East yet, so callable hand still available, and might just start to call anything at this point. We're hitting the end of the second row. And Atosuke, not necessarily the worst. It applies some pressure. 6-minute interesting draw. Could see the 4 Mon and just commit to the Dora shape. Leave Ipeiko ideas alive. Not necessarily going to be confirmed, of course. We actually will see the call from Wenchen, aiming to shut this down with a Tanyao. Even B5, 6, 7 Sanshoku.
We're going to see a lot of aggression on these tables because these players are very aggressive and also have really good reads of the board, which means that they can push a lot further than players who can't read the board quite as well or don't have as much experience with it.
Yeah, that was actually another interesting spot from Felix. Deciding without a pair confirmed what to do, ends up playing towards the Tanyao. Says, I can make 2 shapes, or 3 shapes even, out of this pin block, and then I won't ever have to worry about this door shape. I'll just wait for the 7 Mon to come. So, yes, not the most natural of moves to cut away from a triplet in your hand, but Felix assesses this is actually the fastest way to get to a Tempai, and we will see calls come out now. Tempai for Wenchen, 2-5 Mon, Tanyao only. Also, Quincy calling, as expected, towards a Tempai, even if there's no Yaku confirmed yet. We'll likely have to deal in, though, if Tempai is reached.
And Dylan is going for the full straight. Releases the 1 so and has waiting for that 7 so and a pair, but Wenchen will get there first. Shuts down Quincy's dealership.
Yeah, Quincy with the Mongon Tempai, but Wenchen the shutdown. The dealer will move to Felix, who starts off with a lot of honor tiles and terminals. Not enough to think about Kokushi, though. So we'll start cutting those away. And the remaining tiles in hand are actually reasonably strong towards PF type hands. So you don't necessarily need to be too disappointed with your starting tiles. Even a Dora drawn. So we'll see how that affects things later. across the way. Wenchen is looking actually super strong, 2 away from Tenpai, and could see another early Riichi come through. One more copy of the door on the left for Dylan has opened with the West Yakuhai, and could see another shutdown hand. I'm used to these players aiming for Mongon Plus in this situation, but the hands haven't quite settled in that favor. The Yakuhai hands are the ones that are winning, or the cheap Tanyas.
A great question in the chat. The coloring of the tiles. So if you look at the discards, the shaded tiles are the tiles that were discarded from a draw, so Sumogiri, and the white ones came out of the hand, so Teirashi. But also, when the tiles turn pink, when they're shaded pink, it means that they are somebody's winner. So you see the 1-mon and the 4-mon in other people's hands and in the discards are marked as Wenchan's winner. And it comes right
And
out.
he'll get the winner, Onibatsu. It's funny, sometimes when watching these players, it feels like they have the pink shading when they're playing the game. That is not just a spectator view, because they will just push, draw the deal-in tile, and stop. And it's really impressive when those players are locked in. Actually, one of the commentators that we'll be enjoying later on is one of those players that when he is locked in, he always seems to know what your weight is. He will push everything except for that weight. Korak will be commentating the finals later today. I think maybe even game number 2, we'll see.
Korak and his own, the reigning 2-time champion of Armel.
First back-to-back A1 champion. And is kind of in the hunt for it once again. He's in second place currently. First place has had an incredible season with 0 fourths. But if he slips at all, Korak is coming right back, right behind. Only 1 fourth for Korak this season. But in a tournament like this, any fourth can be enough to send you out, and we will have to see how things develop here. Still early days in this game. East 3. Looks like it might be just a bit frozen, but...
Yeah, I'm sorry. I need to turn off the... Okay, should be okay now.
Well, we have a door draw for Quincy. And approaching Tenpai, 1 away. Could be Ipe Kopishu if you draw the 6-0. Looks like the door too. Wenchen open up towards Asanchoku with Chanta as the dealer. Just classic efficiency on the right for Felix. Another Chanta block found by Wenchen, so now has everything that he needs to win the hand, just needs to find the filler tiles. Ooh, there's a move from Quincy. Actually calls the 6-0 and cuts 1 pin, requires the 4-0 draw and a Tonki later, so this is a bit of an aggressive move. Perhaps reads that the player on the left is not going to be able to use another 4-0 because they've cut one already, but there's a really heavy reliance on this 4-0. It's going to be tricky to win. And again, 6-0 is also a tricky tile to find. Meantime, Anko of the South has been drawn. That is seat wind for Dylan. We're anticipating a Riichi to come out soon. Could call this 2-0 into Tenpai, but he wants a little bit more here. I think maybe if there's a 5-0, you would consider it a little bit more strongly. You call the door into Tenpai. One of the downsides of Wenchen aiming for an outside hand is that he may not be able to use the Dora. Interesting spot here as well. Has completed the 7-0 and doesn't necessarily need Chanta for this hand, so could drop out the 4-pin in the future. Could also just force the usage of the 4-pin and play for the wider shape.
I'm sorry, I was quiet because I was trying to find this stupid streamer mode that moved, and I always had trouble finding it. I got 27 Discord messages to me and then saying, "Oh, I think she's streaming." Oh, sorry, it's now on streamer mode, so it won't be noisy anymore. I apologize, everybody.
We've got, oh, well, it's a little blip on the radar, but we do have Tempai on the left for Dylan. Can only win on the 5-so because all the 2-so have been discarded, but that's absolutely fine. And there's the Chadla Tempai for Wenchen as well, waiting 8 mon. One of those tiles is discarded, one on the left, 2 on the right, so none available from the wall. A little bit of trouble if he does draw the Dora. Still one copy of the 5-so in the wall. By the way, Quincy has managed to fight a Tempai with a Yaku. Did work all the way to Tanya, waiting on that 4-so. And there's the 4-so. Wenchen cannot hold on to this. Out it comes Tanya Duartsu. That aggressive play early on is going to pay out for Quincy. Up to 35-1 in first place. Taking a quick peek at the other table, by the way, to our knowledge, with the delay there in East 3, and it is a very close game in that game as well. No one's pulled out ahead. All right, here we are. East 4, Dylan gets his first chance as the dealer. White Dragon Dora, once held by Wenchen, across the table. In front of us is the hand of Quincy. Looks like a fairly natural Pinhu type hand. Not holding out for any Itzo ideas with that early 1-mon cut. Felix, very natural cuts on the right once again. Just playing efficiently. No real sign of great value just yet, but now pairs up the Green Dragon for a potential callable hand. And in this tight scoreline, it might be a little more willing to do so. Does in fact call the Green Dragon. Which a player that I always think about as a, well, mostly closed player. Really likes the Riichi ideas. But we saw in the last hand, very flexible on that front. Looks like this hand, though, is going to be a Riichi. Could call the North for Yakuhai, maybe end up waiting Dora Tanki in the future. See if that North comes out sooner rather than later. And maybe even Itsu ideas now that the 1-mon has been drawn. You can hedge that with a 7-mon cut here.
I think he's cautious about the Haku. He's thought about it for a second because of that Hatsu poem, but
yeah,
it did come out, and probably better that it came out now than before the reach.
Yeah, we do have the dealer Riichi, and this is going to apply. Oh no, the Haku back. Well, that hand's over now.
I don't know. I mean, with so many Yakuhai cut from the beginning and once cut, if it was Shonpai, then maybe not. But now it should be fine, especially with 3 mixing now.
Is there some way you can come back into it? It's hard to cut tiles around this 5-so though. And there's the Tsumo. It's not going to matter. Each Tsumo. No Ura, but 1,000 all will put Dylan back over 30,000 points and into second place. Yeah, it's hard to have predicted back-to-back Dora draws from that spot. It always seems, though, as a player, that whenever I decide finally to cut the Dora, that's when I draw it.
Dora backfire.
3-pin Dora this time around. Dylan's got one of those, and none held by the other players. But just looking around at these hands, they all look relatively fast, and so we could see some spicy action in this one. Wenchen across the table already Ishanten. Can call the North for Tempai if it comes out. Might choose to pass the first one up, but no. Goes ahead and takes that one. Can use the Dora as well. And already a triplet of 9-so for some extra foo. Did not really have the opportunity to consider a Diamond Con earlier, because that came out before the Yakuhai was confirmed. So, just about maximizing the value as we see it here without a Dora draw. Be interesting. Here's that Riichi. Yeah, Quincy was hoping to draw towards an Ipeko shape, but Wenchen just too fast there, and that 7-pin will come out for the really strong Riichi and deal in for a cheap hand. So still Quincy in the lead, but no one is running away with this game as we enter the South round. Quincy, dealer once again. Another hand that looks a little bit average as the dealer, so you're optimistic that you can make something happen with a few strong draws. On the right, maybe the makings of an Itsu and the Manzu. Maybe even you turn this into a flush for value considerations. Across the table, very classic Tanyao Pinfu type hand. Maybe you can sneak out some type of Sanshoku. On the left, Dylan, another Pinfu-esque hand. 8-mon. Great draw for Wenchen. Tanyao on the cards. Step closer to that 3-4-5 Sanshoku as well. Haku pair. Quincy's had a couple of these Yakuhai pairs. See if he's eager to open the hand. See if Felix is eager to cut that white dragon out. It, again, has the appearance of a flush, so could hold on to that for quite a while. There's a door draw for Quincy. And we will see the commitment from Felix. 1-mon Pon. Could even be Chinitsu. There's only 2 singletons of the honors in hand. Although not many honor tiles have been discarded just yet, we're probably going to see a Chi here and the 8 so. Now, 2 away from Tenpai. Mentioned 7-pin here. The route to Sanchoku is now diminishing. 3-mon. Could have used that. Turn that Quincy carded the 4. Haku out. Pon. Dealer now 1 away from Tenpai. Can accept the 7-mon for the door shape, and then also 3-pin and 8-pin. Utility in all of these pin tiles. We'll see Dylan as well speed up the hand. No one wants the flush to win except for Felix. Players incentivized to especially shut this hand down, because if it is Chinitsu in the door seat, it's very likely to be a Hanemon. And at this stage of the game, with the score so close, Hanemon could just be game-winning. Tenpai for Wenchen will not Riichi this.
Waiting for the
awkward
4.
wait.
Yeah, awkward wait, and it's the suit that everybody is holding on to.
Now Quincy drew a dangerous 2-mon, but now has an escape valve, pairs up the 2-mon. Oh, will Riichi this though. Yeah, with a Dora.
The score is so close, even in South 1.
Felix in an interesting spot, probably suspecting that the weight is indeed in the Manzu. That is the suit that he's been collecting, so might just have to drop one of those tiles for Tenpai.
Well, pairs up something. There's a lot of pair up options in the Pinzu. So if he can do that, then he can get to Tenpai before the exhaustive draw.
There's still opportunity for Dylan for sure. 9-pin back. No thank you.
It was the
Quincy.
4 discard.
2 Dora. I'm curious. There's a 3 so... No 3 so live. Just want to see if he's ever going to have to make a decision pushing something like the 8-mon. Oh, nope. 5-mon. That's no good.
Just gonna have to fold, I think.
Yeah, just giving up here. Felix also not getting to Tenpai, and Dylan missing out on the last draw as well. It will be Ryukyoku Wenchen, the only player Tenpai, and now claims first place by 100 points. Although, again, South 2, there's a Riichi stick, there's a Honba, and anything can happen at the scoreline. Felix is our dealer on the right. Looks like a nice hand. If you can draw the 2-pin especially towards Riichi P Fedora 1. But Wenchen opens with pair of White Dragon and Red Dragon, calling one of those tiles, and looks to be a very fast hand. Reclaim that stick that was left on the table the previous round, now finishing the final shape necessary. It can still improve. Dylan, callable hand here on the left. South pair. Quincy always has a callable hand. We saw in a previous one. He can always find a path. There's the red dragon call. Now the table sweats a little. Green dragon once cut already, so we're not anticipating Daisanken here, but Shosanken is possible. Do we see the table slow down a little bit, I think, and consider the options? Once again, we're in a situation where top 2 advance, so you don't necessarily need to win game 1. But if you deal with Daisangen, you're probably not making it.
But from all the other players' perspectives, Daisangen is still a possibility. There's only one green dragon on the board. And now if they draw one of the other 3 that are still in the wall, then they will have to probably fold.
One of the, I guess, advantages or disadvantages, depending on how you look at it, playing on Ronron, is you do see that Tadashi Tsumokiri. So you can do some math on if they had the pair, would they've called that green dragon, so on and so forth. It doesn't matter. There's the 5 months sim with a Kanchan fill for Wenchen, and that's a big hand. The biggest hand that I think we've seen in this game so far. And that puts him in a solid first place in this swing round. This South 3 is going to determine a lot for the rest of the players, setting up their all-last condition. The Uma, not big Uma, 15-5 Uma, but 10-point difference with your competitor is important. We have Felix opening up early green dragons. Not necessarily a tremendous amount of value just yet, but I think he is kind of hedging the idea of a flush here on top of things in the Dora suit. That certainly would be. Speaking of flushes, on the left, maybe it is Dylan who's considering the Pinzu Honitsu. Itsu is also possible. Yakuhai available with the Chun pair. Great 8-so pull for the dealer, Wenchen. One comes out, insta-pull, and actually Dor has been paired up in that hand, so might consider not forcing the flush in this situation. Yakuhai Dor 2 is kind of puts you close, especially if you're hitting Dylan directly to take over 3rd place. Definitely a consideration. We see Felix kind of hedging both of the options, not forcing the honors to stay in the hand. If he pairs up the north, then we'll certainly play for the flush. But other than that, the south. Other than that, be aiming for that 39. Quincy's hand starting to look good. Starting to look really good. Very wide Ishantan. But advancement happening on the left. There's the Tempai. Dama not wanting to risk anything.
And now this looks like it could be a flush. The 2-5 bean is not going to be very scary to most people.
Yeah, it was expected move from Quincy. Did not want his Ipotsu to be broken, so let the 8-mon get called first. Now slams the Riichi. Felix has to sweat a little bit. Can't really defend from the spot. At this point, you basically say, thank you for the Riichi stick. And now Dora Tonki on the left. It's not a Honitsu, but that's okay. Same value open. You have Itsu, Chun, Dora 2. 1-3 on the wall, but there's the 2, so that's Takame. And he cannot stop on it either. Riichi, Pif, Tanyao, Ipeko.
I mean, his other options were Pinzu to a player across from him calling for Pinzu, and then the Dora. Those were the only other options. So there was
exactly nothing you could do there. But Quincy with that Hanuman, that Urasan. Now we've seen the bomb. Now we see who is our first place candidate. Wenchen not too far behind though. About 4,000 points back, actually exactly 4,000 points back. So has a very easy condition to surpass back into the lead. But we don't necessarily have to consider that as our only option, as the dealer can repeat indefinitely. And Dylan has a reasonable hand here on the left. When you're Quincy and you see that Tuso come out, you're already feeling great. Urasan is just the icing on the cake. Irasan with a Pihu. So many pairs in the hand. Craziness. Speaking about pairs, Quincy, this time with 4 pairs, including Dora pair. We saw last time Quincy had a couple Dora, forced a Tanyao type hand, though in this hand, pairs the 9 mon as well. Let's see if he goes aggressively towards that Tanyao or maintains the pair options. Riichi, Felix gets there first. Riichi Pinfu. At this point, not waiting around for the 8-pin Dora draw or the 4-pin Tanya draw, and actually gets the 2-mon Onipatsu. Ichi Ipatsu Pinfu. Ura, that's the Mungan. Okay, Felix comes right back. That's not going to be enough to exchange placement, but does pick up 8,000 points towards the game 2 goal. And that's going to be a very big deal for him moving forward. Quincy will confirm the first place at 42-1. Wenchen the second place at 38-1. So strong showing from those two. And again, because of the deal-in from Dylan at the very end, there is quite a significant margin between first and second place and third and fourth place. That will be added to the conditions for the next round. I imagine that these players will pause a moment to consider their situation. Top 2 advance, and so the players will be targeting Wenchen mostly, as he's going to be the closest to the others.
And we will be actually moving to the other table.
That's right. So that other table still going on right now, I believe, in South 3. Maybe we could preview it before.
I think that they might have been finished. I'm not sure. It looks like they...
Of course, there's the delay that...
Yeah. But I'm just going to get the overlay all prepped up. And actually, I wonder if Quack is watching.
Nope.
Oh, he's there. All right.
According to Edwin, the other table is not in all last, so we can either start here and jump over to the other one, or go ahead and break until that one starts.
I'm good to break until it starts because I need to.
All right.
That's Korak, everybody. All right, so Nathaniel will be back for the final table to join Korak. Korak and I will be back in just a couple minutes as I prep everything for game 2 of the second table.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back. This could be table 2, the other table, for the continuation of the semifinals, the World Riichi League, America's version. This is Korek. I'm joined by Jen. How you doing?
Hello, hello. I went to the wrong game. I'm just getting the games ready to watch. They just started, so we still have a little bit of a delay before it gets started.
So I guess we go ahead and read off the current scores. Art Hirano in 4th place with a 15,300 and a minus 29.7 in the first game. In 3rd place, Dustin Freeze at minus 13.9, a 21,100 third. In 2nd place, Jonathan Fang at 33,600 in the first game, 8.6. And the current leader, Kevin, with a 50,000 even first place. So definitely the leader here by quite a bit. Now, I believe this structure is top 2 advanced, so Kevin basically just needs to hold on.
We have those scores for you in the corner there, so you can keep track of that as we watch the games, which is scheduled for us to be able to see it in just about 2 minutes. Less than 2 minutes, probably.
I think the screen has the wrong names up.
Your name
The
is wrong.
player names are right, mine isn't.
Yes. So many just demands. I know there is a way to do this. There it is. I found it. Let's change this to... I'm just going to put Korak and not Arthur.
Whatever. I go by both. Whatever. Well, as you can see, we're about 2 minutes out here, so now we need to do time fillers. So I think there's some event you wanted to plug.
I always want to plug this event. Oops. It's on this screen. There it is. M-League World Riichi 2026 US Tour. We did talk about it at the beginning of the stream. I'll be there. Korak will be there. Lots of other people. Yusong will be there. All these pros will be there. M-Leaguers. You'll be guaranteed a seat, a game with an M-Leaguer. Possibly more than one, even. And also, the other pros who will be playing will be Yumi Otani, Hiroshi Yamai, and Ryohei Hirano, as well as JPML President Shigekazu Moriyama. Lots of legends and just amazing pros here. Like, these pros just win so many tournaments. Kotaro Uchikawa, current world champion. Megumu Aikawa won the Women's League so many times they said, stop playing. You are the eternal Women's League winner. And Sho Shiratori, reigning champion for JPML A1. Would love to see him play against Korak, the reigning champion for Armel A1.
Yeah, I may not defend this one because someone's at plus 320, and we only have a few games left in a 24-game season. That is hard to catch. But I won the last 2 seasons of the yearly title, so we'll see how things go. And yeah, I think it makes sense to have Korak up there on the screen because we have an art on the table.
Yeah. Do you ever go by Art?
No, I go by generally Arthur for work-related stuff and Korak for
Mahjong stuff.
Mahjong-related stuff.
I used to have a cousin who went by Artie.
I don't think I've heard that one before. I've heard Art a lot.
I was like a little kid, so, and I think he was a junior, so father was all Art and he was Artie. All right, the game is starting.
Right. Well, if we have the screen, let's go ahead and jump in.
Is it not there? Oh, shoot. There it is.
No, now we are. Okay.
I thought I had changed it.
This is Kevin is dealer with an amazing starting end here. Maybe a Riichi Pinfu Itsu on the right. Also a very strong hand with a possible Riichi Pinfu Ipeiko Tanyao across the way. Decent hand. Pinfu, Dorwan, And on the left, maybe Tanya. Shapes are a little worse, so the Forzo really helps the hand out. Altogether, these are great starting hands. This is Tenpai now on the right. It would just be a Tonki here, so we'll go ahead and just Dama for now. Figuring there's so many upgrades. Ooh, the 6 an amazing pull. There's our 5, takes the Nobetan, Riichi Ipeiko. No Pinfu here. But the 5 is already dead. This is just waiting on 2 Tuban.
Oh, also the owner of Bluebird Mahjong Studio in Las Vegas, who is also helping us out with a lot of stuff on the tour.
Ooh, Penchon Phil across the way. That's going to be a chase. This is Riichi Door 1 waiting on 4-pin. There are 2 of those left, so it's currently a 2 versus 2. And you're in the awkward position for the other seats of, what do you do now? Because it's one thing to prepare for a Riichi. Oh, this is Tenpai as well. Could chase this down with Riichi Nomi. Will fold out, though, it appears. Seems very afraid of the North pair.
Yeah.
Oh, draws the Dora, and okay, throws the North immediately.
But the North came out, so that triggered 2 Norths to come out from Kevin as well.
And Kevin very scared of it. This is a 1 chance of the 2, but just folding. There's our Sumo Reach, Sumo Ipeiko. No or there, but a nice little pickup for Jonathan, who is going to be leading here. And he's the important person at this table, sitting in second place. The person needs to be caught by Dustin and Art.
Yeah, so our first dealer sitting in front of us is the player in first place, Kevin, and second place is the South Sea. Kind of just okay. Art is currently in last place, but in a great position as the third dealer. So we'll be able to see how the game goes and try and apply that to his own second dealership.
Vienna Ishan 10 on the left, but just Riichi Door 1 potentially. Dealer, though, has a very good hand on the right with a Honitsu. Not any value, though. It's just Honitsu. 3 says a great fill. This is a... Okay, how greedy do you want to be? Goes with the 1. So this does allow you to potentially even pull the 8-8 and work around, but you can also accept the 4-pin and just reach the jump on 1 so 7 mon. At the same time, everyone sees dealers called North and should be a little suspicious, because why would you just call North if you didn't have another Yakuai back? So this Hatsu may end getting squeezed and causing a lot of trouble here for Kevin to advance this hand. At the same time, Kevin doesn't need to win this hand. Dora! Passed.
I think he's very scared of those Sozu because it does absolutely look like the flush that it is. From the discards.
Well, it's mostly that Kevin just doesn't have any incentive to get in this game. Barring a complete collapse, any 20,000 third place is probably good enough to advance.
I do think, though, if the player to his right was not going for a very clear Sozu flush, the 1-so discard would, on most boards, be a decent discard.
I think even in flat, I'd cut 1-1. It's just specifically because of the dynamics of set play and top 2 advancing. That you're not even worried about losing your top position overall. You just need to get something, and there's our Sumo on the Honitsu. 1,000 all. Jonathan going to win a second hand. Now 10K out over second place.
So I actually didn't even learn that in English it's called set play until I played in PML Invitational last month. Because I play so few tournaments in English.
Well, it's one of those terms that's used in other, so we just grabbed it over and
In
seems
Japanese we call
easiest
it
enough.
In Japanese we call it tournament style. And set play would be like when you play with friends at a
yeah,
at
it's
table.
a thing of John. So when you ask to say set or
yeah,
otherwise, it's very different.
So, but
All right.
yeah,
Well, dealer here has a potential Riichi Pinfu. Tanya Sanjku would need to shift up from this one pin, but 2-3 were looking very viable. If not, Riichi Pinfu Dora 1 also acceptable across the way. Pinfu hand, nothing fancy there. Maybe a 79 Sanjku. 8 pin would really be nice for the hand. And 3 of those on the wall. And on the left, wants to go Chinitsu, maybe even Chinitsu Chitoitsu. But with 2 Dory take you can get and just keeps drawing all those Monzu. Little said the Chun ended up getting cut, but wanted to hedge the Tadjao. Oh, there's our 8 across the way. Now actually it's a bit of a problem trying to find the pair in that hand. Six, okay, well, double Nobeton. This could even be 3-1. So go ahead and cut the
so
1. Will this be pawned and just go for the Chinitsu? No, it says I got to draw a third Dora.
we started with the 1 for the Dora acceptance. That 3-1.
This is Tempai, Riichi, Sanchoku, Dora 1, waiting on the Dora, but Dora is dead. Meanwhile, across the way, now Ishan 10 for potential Riichi, Pinfu, Sanchoku. And Jonathan's now in a bit of a weird position because you don't really know what's safe here. But at the same time, you kind of just want to pass dealer turn if you're not confident about the hand.
I think this reach was made to put pressure on everybody, and it's working.
Ooh, well, that 3-mon gives Jonathan a way back into this hand. Won't take it just yet, though. 6-mon, okay. That is Ishanten for Suwanko.
That's also known as 1 Gen Shanten. But even
I mean,
if
that would
he ends
definitely
up
get Dustin
calling,
back into this game quickly. Oh, the 4. Unfortunate.
there was a Tanyao route there.
I mean, at this point, if you're Dustin, especially the scoreline, you just have to shove. If it's Sozu, I feel you just deal in and don't worry about it.
That's
Tempai for Suwanko. Regardless, Shinitsu, Sananko, Toy Toy, Dora 3. So how good is this weight? I know there's 1-1-mon left. Is the other side open? There's a 6. This has 2 outs left. And there's one of them. Okay, so it's now a 1 versus 0 fight.
No more draws, though. The last one goes.
Oh, it was the high
It was the high
day.
day.
Oh, Dustin's going to feel so sad when he sees the logs on this game. Just a bit off. Needed someone to call something and would have hit the goods. Oh, that's intense. Well, with that, it's just Tempai payment. So we are now in East 3. Art is dealer here, calls the double East. Could potentially accept a Dora. The rest shape's not ideal. I have a couple of runs, but basically just calling the East to be able to take anything else. On the left, decent hand. Potential Haku, Dora 1. Riichi ideally in front of us. Kevin with a Pinfu Tanyao hand. Does have the 7-9, so requires some shifting around. And on the right, I think that just being played as Chinitsu in the Dora suit, which always has the advantage of you could always accept a Dora. There's not really any value just yet. It's another Honitsu only right now, but lots of potential. Second Dora pulled in here by Kevin. So he's definitely going to look for a Tadya route.
It's one away. sorry for Dustin.
Yes, Justin with ideally the Dorotanki. Would I preferably just pair it up and cut the 5?
All right,
Oh, well,
fine.
that's Senpai as well. Doesn't even take it because of the Furi 10.
Would have been a great way if that 7 hadn't been discarded.
Penchon added here. Doesn't do much for this hand. This is another one where Kevin just going to squeeze the Honitsu suit for the dealer, which again is Sozu. Or not the dealer, the player on the right. 7 so will be called. Doesn't actually advance the hand. Because a lot more flexible talking. Oh, another say. Okay. Dustin's had enough. He's taking the Furi 10 this time.
And that's a lot more value now for Jonathan drawing at the red dragon. But there's 2 out, so no more value.
Yeah, it doesn't do much here. It is extra food, but this
Tempai
does not
do.
deal in. Oh, doesn't throw the 4. It is door indicators. It's not a great tile. Could have thrown the 4, and although you see it highlighted, it would not deal in. It is a Furi 10. Another pair. This is Cheat Toy waiting on the Dora indicator. And we'll go ahead and take the Riichi. Forso Shaw versus Forso, but it's dead here. And we're just waiting on the Shaw for Jonathan.
Just one more 7.
Now
Justin,
Tempai across the way on the 5-8. Now this may be a Dorotanki switch. Well, Turnley may end up dealing into the dealer here.
I mean, 6 though doesn't look great either.
Does throw the 5. Deals into dealer for double East. 2 Holma and the sticks. That's what Art needs to start. Has a long way to go. Started in 4th place coming to this game. Needs a big win here.
And was in last place for the table for this game as well until that win.
All right, we'll look at these hands starting with the dealer across. Honitsu, Chitoitsu, even Toitoi, 2 Dora. Beautiful hand. On the left, that is a bunch of disconnected mess. You can see the blocks, and none of them connect. How many contrasts with you? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And a Penshaw, not my ideal hand. Kevin here with a Chinitsu potential, a whole bunch of Monzu. Well, now you have a lot of flexibility. Just as I'm going for the Honitsu play. On the right, we have an East pair and a Dora, maybe just call and go. Again, Jonathan doesn't really need a big hand. He just needs to keep dealer moving. When you see the 3-mon get pawned, it does leave the remaining shapes very awkward, but it does give a Toy potential. Now, that pawn I don't like on that too, because now you need the last 3.
I actually would have really liked a green dragon pawn, a 7-mon pawn, waiting for the 1-3 in the Monzu.
Gets another 9. So this is Ishanten for dealer still. Across the way, the scary hand is also Ishanten. He's another one of those 6-9s.
Flush versus flush, but Art has 2 Dora in his flush.
And one is Chinitsu and the other is Honitsu.
Well, it's probably Chinsu. Now it's Chinsu. Drew the red dragon.
Is that on the 5? Yeah, this is just on the 5. So, uh-oh. Dustin in big trouble. We might see a call here, but it doesn't help the shape a lot. Tempai now here for Kevin on the 3-bond, the last one. But I feel this is just going to be Dustin dealing into the dealer Chinitsu Dora 2.
It's not Oh, it was just Uso.
Yeah, 6-4 Kanchan there, and that is it. And I don't want to say it's over now for Dustin, but he has a lot of work to do. Great result for Art, terrible result for Jonathan. As now this is going to be a fight, but remember, Art was the 4th place in the first game, so does still have to make up a bunch of points.
What a comeback for Art coming back from last place. And the scores were not actually massively different. There was a 65-point difference between Art and first place. But he has now surpassed Jonathan, so there's a good chance, he has a good shot at making a comeback here.
If the scores were to end here, Jonathan would still advance, but the gap is closing. Dealer Hahnemann will tend to do that, but the best hand is across the way with a Riichi, Pinfu, Tanyao, Dora, 2 great shapes ever. Maybe Sanshogu as well. Dealer Baimon potential. On the left, you see a Dora drawn. I feel you just go Tanyao with this. In front of us, we have a Pinfu hand, nothing fancy, would love a 3-pin. And on the right, Pinfu, Tanyao, maybe a Dora, but the Dora are all accounted for, so the hand's likely going to be cheap.
And I totally misspoke. It's only a 38-point difference between Art and Jonathan. It was a 65-point difference between Art and Kevin. So actually a really good chance to get into second place for Art here, especially with this hand. Although Jonathan's hand looks nice too. There's no Toby.
5-mon doesn't. No, there is no Toby. You cannot bust. This is WRC rules, are as close as we can get. Forso goes out. Shape's getting much better here. Jonathan may end up getting this Riichi Pinfu Tanyao, but still a little bit of work. 6-6 ice with the 5 here, but has too many pairs. We'll cut the 6-pin. 5, so backfire. Of course, you cut the 4, you're going to draw the 5 the next turn. That's just how this game works. 3 could call down for Tanyao. Go 9-9, but Kevin's been playing this game very defensively. Meanwhile, perfect Ishunten across the way with 2 Dora. And we have a perfect Ishunten on the right now. So they're getting close. A pin doesn't do anything, though. Now we're at the point of the hand where the wall just says, okay, I thought you guys were having too much fun, so you're going to get a whole bunch of nothing.
I can call that for Tempai.
That is Tempai with 2 Dora, so I imagine it's just taken this late, and it is.
I mean, especially as dealer, you need that Tempai at the very least. And 2 Dora, that's
again, this is Art
in.
who needs a lot of points. So the Tempai is very important, but ideally just win the hand. Like
is,
that, makes it
off.
easier. The Tanyao Dora 2, 6,000 all, plus the home bonus, actually 7,200 win. And another great starting hand, triple Yakuai and 2 Dora. We have a dealer Hahnemann brewing, and that's not excluding the possibility of maybe a Chanta upgrade or a Honitsu upgrade or dare I dream Hanroto. This has just all the potential value. There's another call. Full greed goes with the 6 cut. Not even going to consider the other play. This is Ishunten for Honitsu, Chanta, triple Yak. Oh my God, it's Tempai. And this 2 may just come out right now. What a disaster for Dustin. A huge win. Chun, double tone, Hatsu, Chanta, Honitsu, Dora 3, Baimon. And that is enough for Art to take a temporary position in first place. 82,600, and we're just in East 3.
And that makes up the 65-point difference with the first place player. That doesn't even need to worry about second place right there. But now Kevin
it just keeps getting the hands. Look at this Chinitsu. I'm very surprised that 2-pin wasn't taken. But says, okay, I'll just draw 1 myself and not worry about it. Meanwhile, on the left, slow Pinfu Tanyao hand. In front of us, Pinfu, maybe a Dora, maybe a Peiko. And on the right, Hatsu Anko. but pretty good shapes. And now the problem is if you're Jonathan, Kevin had a really big win in the first game, so you have to get a bunch of points if you want to overtake. It may be too difficult to overtake Art at this point, who'd be staring at what a plus 55 right now would end up roughly plus 25. Ooh, Ishan 10 now on the right for Riichi Hatsudora 1.
I think he's plus 67 right now, no?
Let's see. Yeah, 67, you're right.
And that was just about the difference between him and first place, so that's well beyond what he needed, with first place being negative, and he only needs second place anyway.
Yes. I'm thinking about it from everyone's point of view. Dustin, you're in trouble. Not too much else. Missed out on the Yakumana that deals into a dealer Hanemon and the dealer Baimon. Sometimes it's just not your day. Meanwhile, the Chinitsu, or probably Horitsu across the way, is getting very close. It's actually an Ishanten for Chitoitsu.
Yeah. I think that's why he didn't pull in the red dragon.
Well, now, yeah, you just have to do it.
There's the poem.
Says, yeah, okay. This is the interesting position where the tune doesn't even help your value, because Honetsu Toy Toy is worth... goes at a gods into a 3! Everything going right here, waiting tune 1 pin. The tune is dead, so just the 1 pin. One of those in the hand, but Dustin, if he draws the 7, probably just throws the 1 and shifts out.
Another dealer Baimon guaranteed at this point.
Yes, that is Honitsu Toy Toy Dora 4 on Sumo. It'd also be Sononko, but that wouldn't change the hand value. This is Tempai on the left, trying to decide whether to go with the 2-5 weight or the 2-3 mod weight. Yeah, I see a lot of 2s and 3s. The problem is the 5 isn't great either. Can see 3 of the 5s. We know it's dead. There's one of the remaining 2s, so only 2 outs left for Dustin versus the 1 out for Art. Oh, there is the 2. Picks the right weight, gets something anyway. Right now to reach, will there be any Ura? No. 1,300 from the hand and gets a ton of Homba worth more than the value of the hand. Still minus 17,700 and needs to go on a rampage here. Has a potential Hatsu call and go, not the hand you're looking for, but I guess you just take it. In front of us, we have a south pair, maybe call and go here. On the right, a slow Itsu in Pinzu, and across the way, can call this Haku, but trying to decide whether it's worth it or just wants to fold out. That is, unless Jen locked up. Oh, okay, just some lag. Four, that is Tempai across the way, just Haku, waiting 5-8. It feels like it's a matter of time when it comes out. See a shift up with the 4. Pay goes out. 5 connects in that nice Sozu shape. 3, 4, 5, 5, 6, 6, 8. 8's kind of extraneous at this point. Could also go 6, 8 Mon. Of course, you know the 8 Mon deals in. Goes with the 3, though. Oh, there's our 5.
No.
Deals in. And now, if you are Kevin, you need to be paying very close attention to Jonathan's score. Right now, Kevin would still advance. Because it's 10,000 replacement and 11,000 difference. That's a 21-point gap, and they came into this game with, what, a 26.4?
Yeah, exactly.
But ideally, you just win a bunch of hands here and don't worry about it. At the same time, Dustin seems to be playing the get me out of here game. Calls down for Paydor 1. This is Tempai already.
Well, Dustin does have the last dealership, so It is advantageous if his hand is not going to be worth a lot to still not let other
And
people get more points, but he does
oh,
have
I
two
misread
Dora.
that. That's a 2 Dora. That's a much
Yep.
better hand. I thought it was a 4-5-6.
He
That
does
is
have two Dora.
Shampon 3 so 5 so. So it's pay Dora 2 or pay Dora 3. Does the Dora pop out right here even? No. Could call the 4 and just cut the 9. I think that's what you're supposed to do if you're Art. And that is Tempai across the way, 4-7 for Tanya Dora 1. So 4-7 pin versus 3-5 so. There's a 7. Will be held because of the 5 in hand. 7. Could call this, but just with how Kevin's been playing his Sunshine, I don't expect him to. And does not fall for the deal in on the 5 so that was Tempai, but not being taken by Jonathan. Oh, there's the 4, deals into the Tanyao. Tanya Dora 1, 2000. Art cannot be stopped this game. We are in South 2. Dealer has a bit of a match. You can see the shapes, but there's not really any value, and they're not good shapes across the way. Another pretty good starting hand by Art. On the left, we have a Haku pair, maybe call and go, might even go Chitoitsu. And with where Dustin scores, I think you have to go Chitoitsu. Kevin with a possible 79 Sanshoku, and that may just be a Pinfu. Maybe a Tanyao shift, requires some maneuvering.
Also important to note that the players have been advised to not win in the last hand unless it fulfills the conditions to advance to the next round.
And we're going to see the 4 come out. Still greeting the Sanshoku. 5, that is Ishanten. Could just cut Haku here, but I think the 6 is the normal play because as much as you like Chitochu, you really like his Suanko. 6. Interesting draw here. Yeah, it goes with the 9. There is still a 6, 7, 8 Sanshoku, but I think is way better in terms of actually putting it together. Another pair up across the way for Art, but not going to play Chitoichu. There is a Chitoi Tempai on the Dora. That is Manga minimum, Hane Mansuba minimum.
See how Art plays against this. He only has one Genbutsu tile.
I just go 3 mod. Yeah, you have 2 of those. It's Tsuji. You know that Dustin is desperate for value and will slam anything he thinks is good from this position. Like, this is a much harder discard. Yeah, just shoves. At the same time, even dealing into Mongon here, you don't really care. Now you may. Oh yeah,
that
doesn't even hold back on the Dora. Deals into the Mongon. This is another one that I think is purely positional play. It says even if it's 8,000, that helps my condition. That shuts down the dealer. All last. You're not worried about 2 people overtaking you. It's basically impossible. And as long as Art can just pass the dealer turn here safely, is in excellent position. So we look at the hands across the way. Art with a Tanyao type hand. Does have this Penchon, but I feel it's Tanyao Dora most of the time. On the left, just a regular Pinfu hand. The problem is just needs value. I don't see it. In front of us, Kevin with a slow Pinfu hand. And on the right, Honitsu in Sozu. At the same time here, Kevin just needs to win any hand. Art would be fine with just passing dealer on. So the dynamics here are really between Dustin and Jonathan. Because Dustin needs anything, but he may get really greedy And he's showed he'll deal in some really aggressive tiles. Of course, I say that as our threw live Dora into a desperate fourth place Riichi. But again, it made perfect sense based on the positional play. Onko up across the way. Could go 1-2, could go 9-9. We'll go with the 9.
Am I reading this right? The other table was 90,800 first place. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that. I said it.
Yeah, I don't think their results affect this game. We have a Dama Chinitsu Dora or Honitsu Dora 1. Oh, and the Hatsu. That's going to make this super close. This is a 17,000 point gap. I think that's enough that if the
17,
scores were to end
18.
here, Jonathan would advance.
22.
Now the question,
It's a 22 point?
22,
17 plus. It's
no,
going to be 10, so 28.
10,
Sorry.
yeah, 27
27.
points, yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, pretty sure that's what I said.
You said that. No, I'm sorry. I'm
Okay,
looking. It was
anyway,
26 point. Yeah, 26.4, and that's
it is
27.
enough.
So.
We need one Han for any condition. It's the easiest one to understand. Dustin needs anything. Kevin needs anything. Jonathan needs anything. And Art needs anything. So this is one where the graphic would show up as 1,000 or 300 or 500 for all the players except dealer. And the only reason it's not the same is because it show up as 500 all and
We never see that
1,500
graphic.
on their own.
That is awesome. I want to see that graphic sometime. I guess the Masters, the JPML Masters this year was very close to that. I think one player needed Hanemon, and two players just needed anything, and it was a really great final table. This is probably the best sort of
Cat by across
conditions
the
you
way,
can
waiting
get.
on 7 Mon. Out it goes! That is Pei. That has a Yaku high. There's the Roan. And there's the deal in, and that should send Jonathan and Art to the finals.
That's it right there. There we have the finals. So 61.1 for Art minus the 29.7. Going to be about 30 points positive. John plus 15, and the 8 points he already had is going to be 23.7. Kevin takes away 13.5, so just barely behind Jonathan there with the 22 and change. And Dylan brings up the rear at minus 62.7, so that's going to be minus over 75. Locks it in. The two players you see in blue here are the ones who will advance.
Wow, came down to the final hand. Nails edge. Absolutely intense there at the end. One Han who wins it. Turns out it's not who wins it, it's who deals in. Because, of course, if Jonathan would have dealt that, it would have been Kevin advancing. Art just picks up another early hand. That one was not a ton of value, but good enough. And we will see these two in the finals. And I think it's going to be about 10 minutes because everyone here is going to need a water break and need to corral the other players from the other game who finished much quicker.
All right, so we will be back in just a few minutes. We'll get the stream all set up and the game set up. And don't go away. Leave the stream on. Bring some more friends to watch the stream as well. The final table looks like they are queuing up, so we'll just take a couple minutes here to get reset and then see you in a second.
Hello, everyone, and get ready because we are going to have the World Riichi League Finals of the Americas. This is Korak. I'm joined by Nathaniel. How are you doing?
Excited. I'm very excited. We had two absolutely thrilling final tables, of course, on stream. We saw what Art did in order to qualify into the finals, but what we did not see was in the other table. It was the Dylan show, absolutely dominating, had a raw score of 90,800 points and went from third place in game one, as we saw, to just crushing it and making it into the final tables. We also had our second player from that first table advance he was the first place winner from game one. So Quincy, who had won that first game, did manage to also sneak into the finals, and we've got a great game for us. Dylan will be our first dealer. I believe Dylan is out of New York with the Riichi Nomi Club. Quincy, as well, from New York, will be in the south seat. Art across the table from Las Vegas, the owner of the Mahjong studio there, and Jonathan from the East Coast as well. I believe Boston is another mathematical mind to contend with. So it should be a very exciting finals.
As you can see, we have a couple minutes here, so we have to stall for time. Is there anything you want to plug?
Just a reminder to folks, I know Korak, you and I are both in the A1 division of the American Riichi Mahjong League. And if folks are part of the U.S. scene, a resident or a citizen of the U.S., you can participate in the American Riichi Mahjong League. The summer season is actually starting pretty soon. There's about a week to register for that. So if you want to climb the divisions to fight against Korak and myself, go ahead and visit AmericanRiichi.org.
All right. Well, with that, we say a couple minutes left. Do you know any of these players personally? The one I'm most familiar with is Quincy. It tends to be a little on the greedier side. Likes building those bigger hands and just getting everything. Art, a little more on the analytical side.
Yeah, Dylan and Art are the two players that I'm less familiar with. I mentioned earlier when I was broadcasting the semifinals, but Art is a player that I really want to have the chance to meet and play against, and it was really fun to watch him dominate that second game. Jonathan is a player that I know pretty well, similarly a mathematician, and so has a very calculating EV-based mindset when it comes to these games. I'm not surprised to see him make the final table.
You say that, but if there's one thing every mathematician I know is bad at, it's arithmetic.
Well, fortunately, they let you compute your arithmetic before the final table starts. There's a little bit of break for that, so you can write down your conditions. But yeah, definitely.
It is definitely a running gag that mathematicians spend so much time in theory that then when they have to do basic addition and subtraction, it's
Yeah, you know what's really bad for us? Time zones.
Time zones are bad enough for everyone.
But yeah, it's going to be a good one. And of course, we have the showdown between Dylan, who got 90,800 points in game two of table one, and also Art, who had 76,100 points in game two of table two. So these players are clutch in the big moments. We'll see if they've used up too much of their luck, though, here for the final table, or if they can keep that hot streak going.
We'll see, but it's basically playing for first or nothing here. So the second game always ends up with some interesting dynamics where fourth place just has to start shoving anything, and third place is often put up against a wall. And then second place gets squeezed, and first doesn't really want a turtle because you have to win rounds to pass things across, but at the same time, you don't want to blow your lead.
Yeah, exactly. It's a really interesting scenario where first place eventually has to win ahead most of the time, but we are in game number one. It's not that condition. It's going to be a little bit more tactical affair, I feel. And off the bat, looks like Dylan's got a great starting hand.
Pretty good starting hand. Too many pairs for me, but maybe a Riichi, Tanyao, Pinfu, and a Dora. If you can get a two-pin Dora, the hand really opens up. On the right, we have double Yaku. I made him go Honitsu there with the East pair and the Hatsu pair. Across the way, Shaw pair. That's a Dora as well with the two-pin. So maybe call and go. Not too much value otherwise. On the left, Pinfu standard hand would love a 3-pin to complete that penchant. So a whole bunch of hands that I'd say vary between pretty good and really good. None that are amazing, but none that are like even average. I think these are all above average hands.
Yeah, I'm really interested in how the dealer is going to choose to play this. Ended up drawing another pair connecting to the so pair that was already in the hand.
Speaking of pair up with Dora across the way, now can just probably call and go for Shaw Dora 2. The first one was passed, though, so there's only one of those in the wall.
Yeah, maybe there's a scenario where you even cut Shasha in the future. We'll see.
I think you would. I do it here. No, instead of cutting the Tumon.
Yeah, Riichi is still a fine plan for this hand, and you still have the backup Yakuhai call. We do have
we have a very fun hand developing on the right, going for Honitsu Toy Toy, maybe even a Shosangen. I think you just have to go Haku here. There's too much value. That's too much value. Oh, there's our Riichi across the way. Shaw 2-pin. The 2-pin is Dora. So there's going to be Mongon on either side.
Oh, this is brutal. Jonathan was getting close to Tempai, but will have a tough time jamming that 2-pin. And now also tough for Quincy. He's got the value worth fighting for.
Quincy has to shove. No, Quincy backs off.
I think this is the final game, final portion of the match. We're in the finals, and I think playing a little bit differently.
7 could have been Tempai.
It's gonna dance though.
Not completely out. We have a Dora Tonki wait on the left. Oh, and gets back here on the right. So Quincy with there's the 3 deals into the Honitsu Tone. With the extra food there, with the 9-man Anko managed to get back in. We'll get 5,200 and the stick. So Quincy wins the first hand. Doesn't deal the Apatsu, so doesn't get the full Mongon, but still a very nice win.
Yeah, Jonathan dodges the 2-pin deal and identifies that that's the bad tile. Ends up Tonki on it, but Quincy did a good job dancing back around to the Tempai, winning the 3-mon. Before things got out of hand.
All right, Quincy with a Honitsu type hand. Not really any value unless it East pairs up across the way. Chun pair, maybe call and go. Has 1 Dora, not too much else there. On the left, Tanyao hand. In front of us, pretty standard Pinfu hand and 0 value.
Yeah, I'm just happy that we're seeing the tactics in this hand. There's the 1-pin pickup. Now it's Chito Ishanten, but Quincy, do you want more?
Well, you want more. The question is how much you're going to hold out for it.
Yeah, 5-pin draws a tile that really intrigues me. Could easily see 3-mon coming from that.
Well, across the way has 2 Dora with the 4-mon. Would love a Chun, and there it is. That you have to take it. That will be taken indeed. Out goes the 7 so. Just playing efficiency for now. Dora on the right. Well, if you go Chito, if you didn't go Chito for, I think you have to now. Yeah, there goes the 6. That will also be called. I imagine you cut the 2 here. And will.
The only part about the hand for Art is the pairs. Just too many pairs at this point, and you don't want to cut. You really don't want to cut the 4-mon.
If you draw the 3-6, I think you have to. But other than that.
And so there was a consideration to cut a pair in that moment and play the 2 blocks, but the overlapping 3-mon there is really a tough one. So I think I still prefer the 2-mon as Art played.
Meanwhile, Quincy's still Ishanten looking for the Chitoitsu.
Speaking of
Chitoitsu, that is Tempai now. I kind of like the Dama. The 3-pin has so many better weights. Is this going to be a 3-pin? No, throws the 8 first.
Jonathan looking for the upgrade. How about 1-mon?
1-mon is dead. 3 out. It's dead.
Oh, Tempai.
There's our Chitoi Tempai. Imagine
not city trap. No,
throws the 4. This is going to be pawned. And now we have when the East is drawn. This may just be a chase, but deals it on the East.
Too hard to jam the 3-pin there. It's going to be another direct hit. Riichi Chitoi for 4,800 points. No Ura, so no max punish. Jonathan's still in this game, but a couple times where he's gotten a Tempai, even the first Tempai, and hasn't gotten the win. Instead, dealt into Quincy.
Could have thrown the 3-pin at Riichi, and then both would have been on the East Tonki, but was a little scared of it. Instead, deals it on the East. Thankfully, no Ura from his perspective. But we look at these hands now, starting with the dealer on the right. Few pairs, not much value. The shapes are actually okay, but you just want one less pair, and then the hand's easier. Say a 5-so would really help. Across the way, ugly Sozu shape. It's actually a 7, 8, 8, 8, 9, and then a Penchon. On the left, Tanyao. And in front of us, Hatsu Kalango could also be a Chitoitsu. And of course, north is Yakuhai. I'm going to see a Chi on the left for the Tanyao door 2 or 3.
Yeah.
And I think we're hearing the Pon sounds from the client.
I love it.
And it's Tempai on the left for 2-pin, 8-pin. Of course, the 8 is Dora, so that would be Mongon if the 8 were to come out. And it does! Wait, I misread it again. I thought that was a 3-4-5. No, it's a 3-6. Wait, now, my mistake.
Yeah. But the Mongon showing on the board, definitely tiles close to that 4, so it would look dangerous as well. We'll see if Jonathan can convert here. 4-pin goes through. That early 9-pin cut, followed by this 4-pin later. Not really expecting that the weight's going to be in the Pinzu.
Yeah, it does look like it looks very much like a 3-6 or a 2-5 weight, but we see the Chuso get jumped.
Shaba would have won.
Do you ever get really greedy and cut 4-so there?
It's creative. Because you can wait on a lot of unusual things, but I usually just rely on the Tsumo here. Not expecting to see someone drop this tile, but really hoping that I can pull one myself.
Another 7 across the way. Not going to hold it. A little scared of this Shaw, which makes sense. This is the West player.
Now we can see everyone here super cautious at this point.
Well, tables do tend to get cautious when they see a third Dora.
Yeah, and so it could be a long time before we see anything really exciting come out from these other players. Although the dealer's getting a little close to Tempai, East is still a little bit of a risk. Won't play it.
No, just folding out. Doesn't want anything to do with this.
And now Art's in a little bit of trouble. He's drawn both of the Yakuhai tiles, and the other tiles in the hand are Tanyao tiles. They could all deal in.
Yeah, but the real question is, where's the 3-6? There are 5 left in the wall.
Well, found one.
4.
Just had to ask.
Well, yeah, that's 1. Now we need to see a few others.
Art plays 8. He's good now. There's the con. No new Dora.
Doesn't add anything. There's another 3.
Could not pluck the 3-6 so out of the dead wall.
Down to 3 outs now in the wall. 2 outs in the wall. Everyone else has drawn that 3-6.
Now Art's got safe tiles for days. 8-8-8s. All be good. Oh, there's another one.
Another 6. Last chance here. No.
And no one's going to make a call to.
Won the hand already, but it was no. Just a 4-4-5 and does not complete the 3-6. Everyone else collects a bunch of those weights. An unfortunate there. Jonathan will only end up with the 3,000, which, to be fair, is not a bad haul.
Still competitive here at 23,000. Only one player over 40k, and there's going to be another game after this. Nice hand, though, for Dylan.
Yeah, definitely playing as a Honitsu, cutting that 5-pin off the bat. But starting with the dealer across, that's a Haku, and potentially accepts Dora later, but not really any value just yet. Speaking of Dora, 2 of those on the left. I managed to just Riichi Dora 2. In front of us, as mentioned earlier, Honitsu also has a Hatsu pair. And on the right, maybe 567 Sanshoku also has a Dora in as well.
Yeah, notably, Art did not call the Haku, had the pair, and it came out first tile from Jonathan. Let that one go. Said I want to draw there a couple more tiles myself before opening the hand. Dylan, not so patient. The hand a little bit more ready to go with the flush.
Well, we see the 7-mon Poland on the right. Just wants to go Tanya with this. Needs a 3-mon, 3-pin, 6-pin. So a lot of work to do unless it turns into a Chinitsu, which is even farther away. Ooh, East pair up. So now Dylan has a lot of potential value. Haku is passed. Art doesn't really want to play this hand in anything other than a Riichi.
Yeah, the Haku is pretty much going to be the pair for that hand, and really would prefer to just draw a good tile rather than get that call. Especially the Dora would be fantastic here. You'd feel really optimistic.
We have an Ishan 10 on the right. Needs the 5-mon 7-pin and then the 3-6-pin. So it doesn't do anything immediately for this hand, though.
Stuff was once cut, so decides to give some more call flexibility.
6-pin, that would be Tempai if it is discarded. And it will be. You have to take this. And it is 5-mon 7-pin for Tanyao Dora 1. There's 1 7-pin out, but 3 outs left for that weight. 5, so this is not a super wide Ishan 10.
Still the East live to be called. Jonathan gets off of the North pair. Oh, there's
the 7. Can sense the hesitation here. Hates it.
Yeah, Clay's the
8 and does. The 7 still goes out at Tempai, though.
Art in some trouble here, says, I will play the 6, though, does not want to give up on his dealership, especially now that it waits on the door. And here's the call for Tempai.
Tempai if it's taken. It's not a great weight, but we'll go ahead and take it and deal in here for 2,600.
Yeah, with the home button. Now, the big deal for Dylan, rather, is that Quincy only had 1 door in that hand, so the punish is not that large. Still, tight scores here for second place.
Jonathan with a Pinfu hand, not great shaped with double Penchon, but the Pinzu has a lot of potential. Of course, 1 door in there as well. Dylan in front of us has a West pair, but not the West seat, so it doesn't do a whole lot. It's a slow Pinfu hand. No obvious value on the right. Pinfu hand, we're still sure 6, 7, 8 Sanshougu later. Across the way, Hatsu pair, maybe Chanta. I like Forso. But with 2 Haku out, you of course go with the Haku first.
Yeah, that's an interesting hedge play. Chanta might end up being your value route.
Oh, I'd always go Forso on. I mean, it's long gone from my hand.
Plays the sort of in between 9-pin for now. But depending on the next couple of draws, could easily see that.
Left, trying to decide which of these blocks to cut. It's 6 block, and this is the time when you have to make a decision. Goes to the 2-2. Haven't got the 4 the previous turn, that makes sense. Potential door accepting draw here with the 3-pin. Now a 2-2-3. We'll go to get the 5. 4-pin being Dora. 7 connects with a 6, so that Sanshougu looking much better now.
Yeah, Quincy could nab a Sanshougu out of this hand as well. Really set himself up well for the South rounds. How long do we hold this 3-pin?
No, it has to go out now. Oh, well, that 6 would have been a completed shape. You would have lost the Chanta, but this 1-4-7 is just breaking the hand.
If you draw any So tile, you'll be able to make progress, but you just have to draw a So tile.
No! The 9-pin, unfortunate.
It would be Tempai on Hatsichin. Still some time. Here's the Green Dragon.
Now you have to call this, especially what do? You just cut the 1 so and play efficiently, or do you greed for Chanta? I
probably ending up with Tonki, so yeah, I think Forso makes sense.
The problem is the Tonki's 2 out, so it'd just be a hell weight. But
yeah, definitely a little worse now.
Chanta Chun Hatsu would be nice.
The funny thing, though, is that Dylan is kind of holding on to this 1 so. Could end up coming out later if Art can get the Tempai on it quickly enough. Might not choose that weight.
The 7 so here, but yeah, I like the 1. It's so bad. And we're going to see, I imagine the 9 comes out because the 1's safe to everyone. It's a great safe tile. So I call on the right for Sanjuku Nomi.
Yeah, from first place, trying to shut the attack from the other players out. Smother the hands.
4. If that goes out, I might just have to take the call for Tempai. And it does go out, and it does get called. It's now Chun, or Hatsu, and then Chun, or nothing.
Still, both of the copies of the Red Dragon are well.
Waiting on the 7. Oh, there's the expensive end. Hits the Sumo on the Chun. Chun, Hatsu, and of course all that extra Fu from the Onko of the Chun.
All right, so back over 3K's Art. We move back to the South rounds. Here we go with Dylan.
Dylan with a very strong starting in here. Maybe a Riichi Pinfu Sanshuku Dora. On the right says, about that Dora, I have 3 of them, and I'm dreaming Chinitsu, but may just end up going Danyao. Great starting at across the way. East pair, but we're now in the South round, so a lot less useful. The rest of the hand, not great. And on the left, South pair, maybe call and go. Other than that, there isn't too much speed.
And for Jonathan, there's always a little pressure to stay close to try to build more value than just South only. At least from this current scoreline. You do want to shut down the dealership of your closest competition, though, so that might be some incentive to open. We'll see if the South does get guarded.
That 8-mon by Art going to incentivize a Chitoitsu play now, especially in that lone Dora. Chun pair, so now you can just potentially call this out and cut 8-9 in Pinzu. Jasper wants the Chun.
Forget the flush, forget the Tanyao. There is a clear plan for this hand.
Speaking of clear plans, could go 9-mon or Shaw here.
Could even just throw this back. Just play the Shaw.
Now, I think you have to take the Ishan Tennis dealer. Which I guess it still technically does, but you lose a lot of acceptance. And there's our Riichi. This is Riichi Dora 3, possible Chun. Waiting 6-pin Chun. The 6s are both locked up. The Chuns are both on the wall.
Jonathan might have to fight here. Tempai now, 3-6-9.
Much better weight here on the chase. This is Riichi, Pinfu, possible Tanya, possible Dora. Of course, we say possible Dora, but that's gone.
Yeah. No 3s left. Only 1 6 left and 2 9s. That's one of the 9s, but that's
9
not
is safe to the South player, Riichi. So it may still come out.
Take Art, though. Well,
1-mon is safe to both.
Has 8-mon for now. He's really just trying to stay away. Can Dylan play 9-mon? No, can't. Looking to be an expensive hand of his own. Oh, but there's the Chun!
The expensive end! Riichi Chun Dora 3. Same value, but Eniora turns this to Hanemon. Nope, still a Mongon. Quincy up over 50,000 now.
This has been the story of the game so far. Jonathan gets Tempai, Quincy gets Tempai, Jonathan deals into Quincy. It's happened 3 times now. Really unfortunate for Jonathan, but this is just game 1, so see how things move forward. But Quincy, a huge advantage here now in South 2.
Yeah, not a great starting end here. Maybe just a Tanyao across the way. Bunch of 7s. Dare Dream Sanjuku Doko. Well, probably not with the South. That just double Yakuhai call and go on the left. Pretty good hand here. Possible Itsu, possible Pinfu, Tanyao, Dora 1. And in front of us, we have West pair, but not the West seats. It doesn't do a whole lot. It ends up just being a bad Riichi Dome almost all the time.
Yeah, sometimes players even just cut West pair out of it. For Art, I wonder if we can start drawing. No, 7 pins are dead. I was getting creative with that hand.
Okay, 2-pin Anka, usual 1-2 here. And if you draw the 2, so Riichi Nomi good weight is acceptable. Q will be held back as a safe tell, cuts the 8-9. Kind of wondering where those Souths are. You know, there's 1 in the wall, because the first one was discarded by Quincy on turn 1.
Not really expecting someone else to be hanging on to it necessarily at this point.
I figure it's probably in the wall. Well, the issue is, can Jonathan cash in this two Dora? Beautiful shapes, but doesn't mean anything unless you can complete the hand. Three says a great draw across the way. Now Ishanten.
Jonathan just praying that one of these hands finally wins.
Hatsu pair doesn't even think about it. There is one out, so it makes sense to throw it back. Quincy completes one of the shapes, but the rest of the hand is just bad. 8-pin. Okay, this is now a very callable shape.
Swaps to a safe tile, one Haku out.
There's a south. Could just take the tempai here. Will do so. Waiting 6-pin, 9-pin. And there's a Riichi.
Well, the good news for Jonathan is that Quincy is not tempai yet, so he might have a chance.
Yes, it is the... Wait, is that a... Oh, deals out of the Ipatsu. Never mind. Riichi, Ipatsu, Pinfu, Tanyo, Dora 2, Hanemon. And Jonathan now out of last place, a direct hit, and only 1,000 behind second. Huge win.
Yeah, this is rough for Art, but we saw what he can do in a single game at the end of the last series. And really, it's rough for all the players. Quincy now so far ahead of everybody that with the first place Uma, and the point gap that Art exists. It's going to be really hard for him to come back. However, there's still South 3 and South 4 to go. Art has a chance to come back on this dealership, as does Jonathan on his.
Yeah, you have to remember that in WRC rules, the UMA is equivalent to 10,000 points per position. So as long as you factor that into your decisions, it makes things a little easier in a game one. But we look at the hands, and across the way has a floating tune Dora. Nice shape in the Suzu with a 4, 4, 6, 7, 7, 8. Maybe Peiko in there. But the rest of the tiles, not great. On the left, looks fast and cheap unless the Dora pairs up. In front of us, wants this Sanjaku shift, 789 or maybe 678. Much more likely to end up at the 789, maybe a 9-months run. Oh, well, just get Tempai, Riichi Pinfu, 3-pin, 6-pin. There aren't a ton of those out, just 3.
Yeah, we do see the 3 6-pins on the left, a couple 3-pins. So as you say, only 3 left. It feels a little bit sad to take this Riichi Pinfu when Riichi Pinfu Sanjoku is so close, but you can't guarantee that you're going to draw 9-mon anytime soon. And one of them's already discarded, so fair enough. Just slam and make sure you get a second place at least here.
There's an argument to dom and just take the Roan to move to South 4, but I'm allergic to dom info. It causes me to shake uncontrollably, as in, why did you do that?
I wonder if Jonathan's going to get the chance to fight here. If he draws the door, there certainly is a lot of incentive to.
Well, that 3-pin what has a decent chance of coming out if this gets fought. But the problem is his weight's just disappearing.
Yeah, now only 1 tile for each weight left. Oh, we're going to see the chase from the dealer.
Chased by dealer.
Same weight?
3-pin, 6-pin. Yes, same weight. Oh, and another 3. There's 1 6-pin left for both of these hands.
Jonathan draws an Onko, though. Green Dragon is a pretty safe tile. Ishantem. Oh, we could see the 3-pin soon.
And there it is. Gets
Instead.
the Sumo Reach, Sumo Pinfu, and of course this Reach that could be very important in all last. Or a 2! Mongon. There's a huge pickup. Dylan in way better position now. This is enough to seriously challenge Quincy in the last match. But you have to remember, this is the first of 2 matches. So, honestly, if things ended here, I think if I'm Dylan, I'm fine with this.
Yeah, you're about 24 points behind. That's doable.
But Jonathan has 3 Dora in his Ishan 10.
Well, it's not over until the last dealership passes. We'll see. Hatsu out. Wider Ishantan now. Will he take the first Riichi that comes his way?
Always be a bad weight.
Yeah, exactly. If you fill 3 mon, 5 mon, 7 mon, you'll be on a Tonki, which you can move around.
Oh, I might even get 8 mon here or 2 mon. I think, yeah. There you go. Because if you got the 8 or the 9, it's Tempai on that end as well.
Yeah, and I like the 2 mon because if you draw the 9 mon, you can sometimes get Sanchoku as well.
Yeah, but it requires some shifting and some inefficient plays, so very unlikely. In front of us, we have a slow Pinfu hand on the right, kind of a slow Pinfu hand, and across the way, Pinfu or Chitoitsu could just be Tanyao. The problem is Art's incentivized to build a ton of value, because this 4th place is a brutal position.
I mean, I guess if you Mongon Sumo in the 3rd,
Tempai should just be the 4 mon Riichi here. Instead, waits on the 5 Nakasuji.
Yeah, I know Jonathan's always going to take this Nakasuji over the direct Riichi Sushi, and we'll see if it wins. There's only one in the wall, but he's banking on the trap, catching someone. There's not a whole lot of info in these early cuts, so see if it comes.
So it comes down to, will the 5 pop out? It probably shouldn't, but there's a ton of information. At the same time, a 5 so that late is not any danger. I'd shove this 2 without any thinking about it. Yeah, it doesn't even hesitate. And it's Ishunten for Art, who has a huge incentive to fight anything anyway.
Dylan also shut in here. You can go 9-pin
9 pin. 9 pin's fine.
And then if you draw 2-pin, you could try the Nakasuji 5.
I think you'd have to chase here. You're a little worried because it's dealer, but at the same time, you'd love to be able to chase this down.
Yeah, 2 problems. It's dealer, and you can't see any Dora.
It's the not seeing any Dora that's a problem. And there's a reason you don't see any Doras, because dealer has all of them.
By the way, Tempai across... sorry. I think
did not. There was a route to Tempai, but didn't want to take it. Would have had to shove the 8-pin at one point.
Yeah, 5-pin. That's a pretty telling in terms of the pin tile. So more Suji created.
What about a Chitoitsu route?
There are a number of pairs for this hand. Still one copy of the 5-mon in the wall.
10. You just play the Chitoitsu. The 5-mon's effectively locked in. 4 so.
Yeah, could not trust the...
You could have trusted the 8
tiles. Yeah, the 8-mon goes through, and then you can try the Suji 3-pin later.
Yeah, that seems like the way I'd play this, but we will see.
I think at this rate, though, Dylan is pretty set on just getting out of here. If Jonathan can't win this, it will be the second monster hand that was not able to... Oh, there's
another 5. Okay, well, that's the end of this. And just has enough safe tiles here. This is never coming out. At least it shouldn't. Maybe if there's Tempai, but nope, that is just going to be one player Tempai. Jonathan netting 2,000. Of course, loses 1 to the middle.
Yeah, it's a fair the 7-mon did not come out either, so neither weight would have been here.
Yeah, that's always a problem with that Ryoncon. It's great until Tempai, and then it's meh. But dealer here has a Pinfu hand, nothing fancy. In front of us is a kind of slow, maybe 1, 2, 3 Sanshoku hand on the right. Pei Anko, but that's not the north seat. Could go Chanta, could even hedge Kokoshi. There are a lot of options for that hand, and none of them are good. Across the way, by far the best hand, Ishunten for Sun Anko, although maybe looking for more value.
Yeah, no Dora. North is always going to be difficult to use. If you draw another pair, you can think about Suanko. Something like the 7-mon or 8-mon draw gives you really natural play towards it.
Even 9-mon, I think I'd cut the 8. Because art needs value. I feel this needs to be Mangan Shibari, because you do at least want to overtake dealer.
Yeah, dealer picking up a lot of...
Being a term for minimum, as in required.
Oh,
but the first player to be Tempai is going to be Dylan here with a Riichi Pinfu 2-5-mon, 6 left in the wall.
Sanchoku here, but I'm not going to advocate the wait one turn. I'm just saying. You pulled the last one out of the wall.
I think you could actually advocate more because it's South 4. The Dama helps you a lot more than the stick here because you're not going to overtake first. The EV isn't that much different. You can get yourself in a lot of trouble, but you can just show it. Reach them up info. No aura. 700, 1300, and of course the pot, we get to 37,700, but the winner of match 1 of the American finals is Quincy with 37,100. In second place, Dylan with 37,700. In third place, Jonathan with 23,300, and Art in last with 11,900.
Yeah, big advantage to Quincy here. In the semifinals, Quincy also won the first game, and although Dylan came back with a 90,000 point first place, that was good enough for Quincy to make it into the finals. And in the quarterfinals, Quincy almost won the first game, was just a few hundred points behind in second, so has always gotten off to a good start here, hasn't needed to come back in the last game. We'll see how Quincy chooses to play the final segment. At this point, you can't, as you were saying, rest on your laurels here. Everyone's going to be gunning for you, specifically because there's only one seat that goes to the winner. So there's only one target then. It's the winner of game 1.
All right. Well, I am looking at the players. It looks like they have all queued up. So they are getting the table together. We should be ready in a couple minutes.
Looking at some of the gaps here to be considered, of course, Quincy first place with 32.1. Second place was Dylan, and that's about a 20-point gap between the two. So just by nature of being 2 placements above, Dylan will be able to make up that gap automatically. So that's going to be the target. I mean, for everyone is to bury Quincy and send him to 4th. And so Quincy has to win some hands. For Art, though, you're minus 33. The gap to first is 65.2. It's going to take an extended streak of wins or some monster hands. And we saw Art pull that off quite well in the last round. So look for him to repeat, give a repeat performance of the semifinals.
Yes, and I think they just kicked the game off, so we may have about 5 minutes out.
It's going to be interesting from a psychological standpoint for Jonathan because he got Tempai so many times. And of all the Tempai hands, he dealt into at least 3 to Quincy and had 2 more big hands with good weights, reasonable weights, go to Ryukyoku. I'm thinking about that early 3-6 so with Dora 3. And then that Nakasuji Trap 5-mon with Dora 3 that went to Ryukyoku. I mean, if you win those hands, the whole landscape is changed. Particularly the one where he ended up drawing Quincy's Chun after slamming a Riichi with a 3-6-9 pin weight. Dealt into the shuffle instead.
Very expensive hand. It's just, that's how the game goes. Sometimes you win the coin flip, sometimes it comes up tails every time. But
and if you're
part of tournament play is shaking it off and putting together a plan for how you're going to approach game 2.
Yeah, if you're in that situation, you can't expect that your Tempai will lose at that rate. So you just hope that you get Tempai at the same rate and just get the other side. You flip heads all the time. Grab the wins yourself. We saw Dylan pull that off in the semis. We saw Art pull that off in the semis. Is it Jonathan's turn for that time?
We are still a couple minutes out, but when you're in these positions, what are you thinking about from first, second, third, and fourth?
Yeah, first, I want to be aware that players are targeting me, so I can Dama a lot more. If I find myself in a reasonable score position, I can take second place. In a lot of situations, I can even take a third place, especially if one of the players that is far below me is in first, such as Art. Then you you don't need to be too crazy, but at the same time, you can't just sit back and watch. If you do nothing, then one of these players is going to catch up to you. Everyone at this table knows how to play to their condition and will do that. And if I'm in second place, I'm pretty optimistic about my chances, actually. So I might even play almost a standard-looking game up until the final rounds. For the other two, though, I'm going to be very greedy.
I always feel second position is the hardest to play because you can't give up ground to anyone, but you still have to beat the person you're trying to chase down. So some misplaced aggression can really sabotage you early, but at the same time, you have a job to do.
Yeah, and if you start to get close, that puts a lot of pressure on the first place player because they suddenly have to fight a little bit more than they want to, and that can end up setting them into trouble.
I feel the most pressure is always on number one because you don't want to be the one that choked.
Yeah, I mean that's very true. To be in position and then, sometimes it's not your fault. Sometimes you just don't have the hands. But if you find yourself in a position where you can push or you can fold, they both are good options. They both have their merits. It feels really bad to make the wrong decision. But sometimes you make the right decision. It just doesn't pan out.
The other thing to pay attention to here is Dylan did manage to close the gap to less than 20 points with Quincy. So as long as there is a two-person placement difference, Dylan would overtake.
The players did not actually spend
the score.
Mm-hmm. The amount of time spent considering their conditions was relatively short, so they understand their position very well. There's just a couple moments away from actually getting underway. Here we go.
There we are, and dealer starts out with absolute trash. Wow, that's bad.
It's tough when you're considering 7 pairs as your best
with
shot.
The third pair, yeah, on the right. That's also not great, but you can at least see the shapes there. Pin Futano hand across the way. Too many pairs. There's a floating Shaw door. If you pair the Dora up, call and go. The left, by far the best hand of the bunch. Maybe any Peiko, Pinfu pretty likely. Possible 1, 2, 3 Sanchiku route. None of these are great hands. Jonathan has an okay hand, and the rest of these are pretty bad. Now you have a 5, 6, 7 Sanchiku. A couple draws there. All of a sudden turns Dylan's hand into something workable.
Art did pick up a 4th pair on the second draw, and has continued to draw those upper Sozu that are making this pond look very, very strange.
Well, it looks like a Honitsu, but the question is which suit? And you go, it's a Pinzu Honitsu.
And then
there's off chance of Kokushi, but when I see 3 East out, I don't really buy it.
Yeah.
Because it is possible to hit that quickly, but it's really hard. This is an interesting play. I'd cut 2-4.
Yeah, Jonathan considering just holding the 2 shapes, but will indeed do that. You can draw 1 pin and 4 pin into a Kanton Tenpai for Riichi Nomi. Feels kind of sad, but maybe he's thinking I can draw 2 so first, and then drawing the 4 pin's not so bad because I have 2, 3, 4 Sanchiku.
I think you're just 2, 3, 4 Sanchiku brain. The way you play, if you're playing it this way, the idea is to draw the 2-mon or the 4-mon and slam for Riichi Peiko.
I mean, yeah, you definitely get the pair draws. You always get the pair draws no matter what you choose. The difference here is that you get extra 1 pin, 2 pin, 4 pin Tenpai for Nomi.
But all are so bad. Riichi Nomi non-dealer. When you're in a distant third of all work to do, we do have a Dama on the right for Tanyao only. 3 5s out, and we know the 4th one is held on the left. See, it doesn't change the Sanchiku route. Could have tried to switch to 4, 5, 6 for required a Monte shift.
Yeah, I don't even mind cutting the 4 so there and trying to draw another block in the Pinzu because these
I would have cut
Sozu are dying.
It's such a bad Tenpai. I feel if you're taking this Dama, you're almost thinking Tenpai payments, which just seems really weak in this position.
Definitely.
Go 1 pin, 1 pin? Or 1 pin, 2
options?
I like 1 pin a lot. Yeah, it does go with the 1.
Speaking of tempai options, I mean, that might just be the play for Art. Make some calls and make something happen. There's a better
Okay,
tempai.
there's our Pianfu upgrade, but the weight is completely dead. It is a Riichi
actually,
Pianfu Tanyao, but the weight is 100% dead unless it pops out from someone else.
maybe there's a world where Art finds Junchan and plays the Tuso.
If you draw a 3-so, I'm definitely thinking about it.
3-so might even come out. It's Gambutsu. Come out from Jonathan if he chooses to fold.
Well, I think it's time to fold. Yeah, it doesn't want anything to do with this now.
Yeah, it's just a really rough spot for Art to give up your dealership, but it was such a bad, hand.
We'll see a chase here as the Riichi Tanyao on 4-pin only. There are actually 2 of those left.
Wow. So 2 versus 0. Dylan defenseless here. 8-pin, that one's
Art
safe.
does fold this. There's a way to Mawashi back into this if you chi the 7, but didn't want any real fights here.
Just staying away.
Well, I was also thinking chi to, deny the... okay. Sumo! Reach Sumo Tanya. Yeah, deny the high T draw on the right, but we do see a Reach Sumo Tanyao, and it's going to be 1,000, 2,000. Jonathan starts off with the win. Not a gigantic one, but you're perfectly fine with a 4,000 win to shut down an earlier Riichi. Oh, 4 6-pin here for Art, but we start on the right as normal with Dealer, who has a double East, wants to go Honitsu, but has a 3-mon pair. Across the way, Chun, Call and Go, or you could just go Chitoitsu. Chitoi Ishanten already. On the left, Hatsu Call and Go has 1 Dora. And then, as mentioned, Art with 4 of the 6-pin. There is a 5, 6, 7 Sanjiku route that's not that difficult to see. Like a 3-pin draw, and then the hand plays itself almost.
Unsurprisingly,
is taken across, so it's Ishanten. Quincy in the hashtag no Chitoy gang. I approve.
Yeah, not surprising to see him give up on the Chitoy ideas. Now, very wide shapes, but there's the insta reach from Jonathan. Riichi Dora 1 waiting on 4-7 Mon.
And at the same time, you're going, wait, what? That pawn does not look like... Okay, so it was 6 blocks, you got the 2-1, and then all of a sudden, huh?
Quincy held that pawn for a while, but you just cannot drop the 6-mon in this situation. So can still get back to tempai with a 7-mon draw.
I think if Quincy weren't in first, there's an argument to just take the tempai and shove the 6 anyway. But in this position, Quincy just doesn't want to get in trouble early. And appears to just be folding out. Didn't even want to shove the 1, so I definitely would have wanted to shove the 1. But the 8 was the safe tile first, but cutting the 7 means this is not even going to be challenged.
Yeah,
4 could have taken, but does not.
This is sort of the difference between the two games, though. In game 1, Quincy was challenging Jonathan. They were challenging each other, and Quincy was getting the better of the exchange. In this game, Quincy doesn't really want to fight. In this
Sumo, reach Sumo Dora. Another 1,000, 2,000 Sumo here for Jonathan. No Ura, but another nice win. We are in East 3.
All right, back-to-back wins for the 3rd place player from game 1.
Deal with an amazing starting hand. Double East, Hatsu pair, floating Dora. Needs a couple draws to connect, though. The problem is the offsuits are just a bunch of disconnected mess. On the left, Haku pair. That is Dora, so Call and Go. In front of us, a Pinfuan, maybe a distant Itsu. And on the right, another Haku. So all the Haku are currently accounted for. When will it pop out? I feel it pops out of Dylan's hand fairly soon, because that's a very strong set of shapes. Possibly 2 through 4 Sanjiku in there as well.
Yeah, a big part of this is going to be how much Dylan values the door as a value route compared to just your classic Riichi Pianfu Tanyao. And also Quincy might end up cutting it, being forced to cut it if he gets close to a tempai. It's always tonky ideas, but 2 Yakuhai pairs in hand and 3 pairs in total. It's tough, and you're right.
There it is. Yeah, it says this hand's good enough. I'm just going to shove it now, and that wasn't supposed to happen.
Yeah, this is huge pressure now for the rest of the table. Not just that someone's called it, but it's the player in first. This one can actually contest Quincy.
And is still Ishanten on the left. We see South pair up on the right there for Dylan. 6 it could be called. Yeah, I think you just have to at least try and fight this. The question is, will there be any direct challenges?
The 8-so is pretty trapped, but Jonathan's going to play for the East instead, and that's Mochi Mochi with Quincy.
Yeah, pair locked on the East, so will not come out.
You see a pair cut that's very telling to the table.
It looks very Ishanten, which of course is exactly what it is. Interesting choice. Do you call the 4-so? I don't think so, but I'd be tempted.
One of the weaknesses of going 8-so here is now your hand almost looks like a flush, like a Manzu flush, and that the blocks that are incomplete in your hand are Manzu and honors.
All Manzu, yep.
Yeah,
One Mon doesn't take it. Ooh, lots of choices.
The real thought about trapping one of the so tiles there and cutting a pair.
Maybe even the East.
Decided to stick with the tiles that he currently has. Another so tile coming out.
Meanwhile, Art is Ishanten for Riichi Pinfu. The person who probably has no fear whatsoever being last after game 1.
Now, Jonathan, an extra 7 mon in hand. If he doesn't get Tempai soon, could get in trouble dropping that later.
So could call for Tempai.
No,
but just draw yourself. I think it's maybe a Dama, but I'd Riichi.
The weight's kind of thin. Already 5 tiles cut.
Again, this is one where Art's in last and has to make something happen.
Yeah. We're going to see the fight, and Jonathan's not really going to stop here with Dora 3 either.
Question is, Jonathan has Dora 3 and is in third and needs to win this hand. So the 2-5, well, it's not good. There's plenty of incentive to just go ahead and throw the stick out here, even if 1 or 2 of the remaining outs are stuck in the other hands. Now, what we know is the 2-so is dead, and the 5-so only has 1 left. You don't think it's quite that bad.
Jonathan's kind of been showing that he has a so block in his hand, but that's complete at this point. And there's the 7 mon, but Tempai
on the left, waiting 5-8 mon.
3 tiles in the wall.
Those are being held.
Tiles, right?
Yeah, I think it's...
Oh, even 1. Yeah, there's 1 8-mon out. So just 1 8-mon? Or it has to get through 1 tile here.
The 1 8-mon. Okay, not have to worry about it. We'll have 2 players Tempai here.
Oof.
Art and Jonathan will both pick up Tempai payments. Puts Art into second place. Deal here is Jonathan on the left with a bunch of pairs that screams Cheeto, especially with a floating Dora like that. In front of us, Art has a Haku pair and a Dora. And we'll just go ahead and call and go. Figures a lot of work to do, but need to start somewhere. On the right, that's a Pinfu hand. That's actually Tempai.
Forget Pinfu.
Hey, Tonki. Oh, this is disgusting. Like, Quincy could even deal in here, honestly. No, disciplined play, cutting the 6. Very good decision. And if you're Art, you go, wait, what? Now, note, this is not a double Riichi, even though you do see it the first tile, because there was a Haku discarded, which was pawned. So it is Riichi Nomi on the pay.
Classic Peitonki here.
I may have partaken of some Peitonki in my time.
Yeah, I'm really curious to watch Jonathan play this hand. So far, just playing Gambutsu and the 9-so, of course. Hasn't had to make a really tough decision just yet. Quincy West is safe. East as well.
Male Art is in a situation to just generally not care. They're just shoving anything anyway.
Yeah, we'll see if that gives enough save tiles for Quincy. He's got a pair of the North now. Pin 2 pin will both go through, so Quincy doesn't have to sweat yet.
Quincy doing a good job of holding that pay back. The thing is, you have those early Riichis, it can be on anything.
2 pin
They
still goes
clearly
through.
didn't have time to massage the hand into what they wanted it to be. There's the
tries to pay.
Deals in, Riichi Nomi.
That's
No Ura.
not good for Quincy, but not the worst. The problem is he's in last.
Yeah, the issue here is at this point, Dylan would get in first with just any win.
Exactly.
So right now, it's super close with these hands. Dealer with the possible Junchan, though. I love this hand. I don't like the 9-pin cut. I feel I would have greeted a little bit more. On the right, we have a South pair, call and go, maybe. Across the way, reaching Dora 3. You don't need to play too much creativity on this hand. You just play it where it goes with 3 Dora. No real callability. And on the left, Kinfu Hanbi, 1, 2, 3 Sanchoku eventually.
By the way, as it stands, I believe Jonathan is currently in first. Just barely.
It would be first place by a lot. Let's see. Yeah, I think it just barely.
Yeah, plus 30, plus 16.
By about 4 points, yes.
Or 15 point something. Yeah, it's really close. Like, this is not going to be determined anytime soon.
Ishanten for dealer here. Trying to decide which Kutsuki do you want. This is the pair locked in already. Says, I don't believe you need Pecos. We're cutting the 7-so. Again, I have Junchan on the brain. I don't like the 7 that much. Like, even the 3 is fine. But okay, that's why. Gets the Riichi Pinfu. Says, I'm going to go max acceptance and just get my good weight Tempai.
Okay, everyone goes, oh, that's Tempai for Quincy, though, with Saranko chance. From last, you just send it with Dora 3.
You have to with that hand. Are you kidding me? It is against a dealer Riichi here, so you don't know the value, but it's 2-pin, 4-pin. 2 of those left versus the 3-6, which has 6 left. So the 2 versus 6.
Jonathan Ishanten as well.
2
That's
versus 5. Idea. Just full down. Khan. Uh-oh.
Oh,
Khan.
For Dora! The Quincy.
Oh my goodness. Has 7 Doras. Riichi, Dora 7, possible Sun Onko. If Quincy wins this, the game, I'm not going to say it's over, but it's looking pretty over. And we're going to see a chase here. And there's the 2. Deals in. Riichi, Dora 7.
And Uda to look at. Misses those.
Doesn't need it, but that's Baimon. Quincy now all the way into first place. Won the first game in excellent position to win the WRL America's title. Just needs to get through 3 more hands.
Oh my goodness, that's such a huge swing from 4th to 1st. That eliminates all of the conditions. Art basically out of this game now. He needs multiple Yakuman. Dylan, whose goal was to be 2 placements above Quincy, now is 2 placements behind Quincy. Dylan's going to have to run up the dealership. And Jonathan, who was in the lead, now has to make all that ground right back up again.
Long way Dora 3. Dora 3 is a very nice way to start this hand. But we start with dealer, has a Hatsu pair, maybe call and go, although with that Dora pulling, everything's a lot scarier. At the same time, as mentioned, the condition means you have to fight this. Across the way, that is already Ishanten Kutsuki with the pair locked in on the 4s. On the left, we have the Dora Poln, so that is non-Dora 3 Ishanten.
I'm very curious if this is a spot where Jonathan will pass a roan to try to target Quincy directly and basically make a Baimon out of nothing. Out of 8,000.
Ishanten for Dylan. Oh, we have Tempai 2-5-so for the Mongon. But the 2-so is now oncoed up. I don't see Art cutting this anytime soon. Potential 3-sided weight. With a 3-4-7 if the 3-6-mon is drawn.
I imagine if the 5-pin comes...
Tempai on the right. 6-mon, 1 pin. For just the Hatsu to shut down this. Oh, well, that's an Onko. Do you want to switch to the 4-7? Nope. Throws it back. Oh, there's the 5. It deals in. That's Mongon. And that may just end Dylan's tournament. At the same time, Jonathan has so many points to make up. Needs to clear what? 24,000 gap if this is the first versus second fight.
Yeah, the margin to beat was 43-8. So gonna get 10.
Needs a 23,900 gap in order to overtake. But this is just hard. Quincy is in great position. Doesn't have a good starting hand, but doesn't need one. Honestly, I don't have a problem just folding from turn one here. At the same time, Jonathan needs to build value here. A Mongon by itself isn't good enough. You may take it just because you are all last dealer. You know the other two are just going to be throwing anything. You see here, Dylan just fishing for Kogushi. Doesn't have any other real plays at this point. Are you going for Kogushi from what, 5, 6? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. No, not even. Maybe thinking Shutoi, maybe folding out even.
Yeah, this just is not the value that he's looking for. Art aiming for, I guess, Sulanko. It's really all up to Jonathan right now. Can he build 30,000 points here against this gap? Again, 43-8 was the margin before this game. You automatically get 10 points for being a placement above. 33-8 margin.
Currently, 33,000 gap. That is so much work to do. The only benefit that Jonathan has is being the last dealer and having two people that are out of it and really can't afford to take a win without a double Yakubon, which figure isn't going to happen.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
It's going to be, can Quincy win one Han in the all last hand? If I'm Quincy, I'm just folding. I don't even want to win this hand.
Yeah, Quincy has door 3, so... Oh, there's a Riichi.
This is Riichi Tanya 2-so 8-so with the double Suji trap here.
It's going to make everybody think. Quincy definitely doesn't want to deal into any sort of Riichi. Couper is safe. Jams the 4 instead. That goes through easily. Of course, Gembutsu. And Ishanten. Tries the Suji 7.
7's a nice little upgrade on the right. Will this be a play for Tempai? And 9 is Gembutsu. There is a route to release Tempai payments, but Dylan has a long way to go. And this is the push tile. I think it's just Haku. No, throws the 3. That's right. 3 is Gembutsu. It's fine.
Yeah, Gembutsu to both. Oh, there's the push tile.
He's going to take it, waiting on 5-8 for Mongon. Haku Dora 3 doesn't even want to bother with the last hand, says, I'm winning it now.
369 so though, on the left for Jonathan, only 2 Han. He's just shoving though. There's the
Sumo, Tanya Riichi, and 1 Doris that is Mongon. No Ura will be a Mongon, but honestly, for Quincy, that's a great result. We're in all last now.
So Jonathan needs to pick up about 24,000 more points. That's just a dealer Mongon directly off of Quincy, actually. Has a pretty good starting hand, too.
Well, so let's look at the positions here. Obviously, Jonathan needs to win anything. Quincy needs to win anything. Art, on the other hand, probably needs double Yakuman here. And with that Sumo condition, it does actually make it a little bit easier for Dylan, because now it is just Yakuman off anyone except Jonathan. Wait, hold on. Would Yakuman Sumo be a problem now?
16 versus 8, I guess he would drop below.
Oh, no, I think the value would be enough to overtake, though. Yeah, so it's just build for Yakuman. But we're really watching Quincy versus Jonathan here. Jonathan with the Chun pair and Quincy with a pretty slow hand, but could just be a Riichi Nomi.
Yeah, at a minimum, Jonathan has to find a Tempai to allow the game to continue.
There's a Chun. You have to take it. Ishanten.
257 pin towards a Tempai plus the 4 pin.
Yeah, Dylan finally realizes it, decides to shift towards the Suanko rather than the Riichi Futanya, which there's no way to get enough value. For Mon, we have Tempai now on 7-pin. Of course, those are pretty locked up here.
The question is, can Quincy play against this? You don't know where most of the
there's a 7, but that fits in perfectly with his hand. Haku probably goes out. Could go 9 so as well. 5 upgrade to a 4-7 weight now. That's much better. Of course, the 7s are dead. There are 2 4-pin left.
Is he not afraid of the
We have
Shompa Haku
Chitoy
yet?
on the right on 3-so. You could just sit there and hold the 3-so Tempai until the end of the hand and not take a win. Hoping to get the Tempai payments here if it does go to a draw. Oh no!
Yeah, correct move there by
Itsumo does not take it, of course. Oh, that is Tempai across the way to end the match. 5-8 pin. So it's 5-8 pin versus 4-7 pin.
2 tiles for Jonathan. A lot more for Quincy.
4, I think. Let's see. 2 5s and 1 8. 3 left.
Here, Jonathan, you're not stopping. It all comes down to this, and you can't. This hand alone isn't going to be enough. You're going to have to win another one after that. There's the 4.
Deals in. It's a direct hit. Not a ton of value. You also get the Riichi Sick, though.
It's like a 5,000 point gain, though.
Nice little pickup. We're in all last again. Jonathan with a much better starting hand here. Lots of speed. You'd love to get a Riichi in there as well, but reasonable. And by the way, we're talking about Yakuman Shibori conditions. What about a Daisongen on the right?
That would do it.
And
Jonathan,
it almost has to be this hand because otherwise a Yakuman won't get first.
Yeah, I
This
mean,
gap is closing. You need to win this hand.
This is the hand you send. Pulling instantly.
Yeah, instantly. It's Yakuman or bust.
Wouldn't it be an absolute dream to win Daisongen at the very last hand of the game to snipe a first? Green Dragon still in the wall, though one is cut.
Yeah, it's just the 4. You can play efficiency. You don't worry about the Honitsu. Because everyone knows, even if it's Honitsu, even with Yakuhai Dora 3, Shosong, and Honitsu, that's still not enough. Because that's the part, is it's not just that you have the condition to win, it's everyone else knows you have a very specific condition to win. And the Hatsu is dead! The dream over before it started.
I guess the play was to pass the first Haku, and then you draw the Hatsu yourself, and then you have a chance to win. That's almost impossible to read. Quincy has interesting ideas here for Itsu, maybe?
Has the 2 Dora and just doesn't want to throw it, I think, is the real issue here.
Shinitsu, I guess? Like Jonathan has made some ground.
Other options. We have Ishunten on the left now. There's the Chun Anko. That is so unfortunate. Needed a Hatsu draw earlier, not the Chun this early.
I mean, is there any direct hit that will do it? It needs to be about 10,000 points over, correct?
Yes. Well, no, because you have to also jump Quincy, don't you?
Yeah, the gap was about 20 points. Oh, yeah, right.
You have to get 2 placements. You can't hit both at the same time without a Subo.
Yeah, it's really, really tough condition. Jonathan, though, slightly better Ishanten.
Tempai here for Art. We'll go ahead and Riichi. Of course, he's not supposed to take the win here if it comes, but he can Riichi.
Fear me, Riichis. More like a cat meowing than a lion roaring. And Jonathan draws Doripatsu, says, yeah, I don't care.
You can't care here.
You're not allowed to care.
3 deals in.
Drops the deal.
He's not supposed to, but takes it. Uh-oh. We're going to have an asterisk.
All right. Well, that
Well,
does end the
regardless of
game.
that, it does end the game, and that's going to be Jonathan with the win here. That is not going to be enough, though, with the third place in the first game. Quincy in second will advance with the 7.2, a combined score of 39.3. Art there with that controversial win on the end, minus 12.3, ends up with a final fourth of the minus 45.4. And in last place, Dylan just couldn't get together this game. The dreams of the Daisangan in the last hand and doesn't get the Hatsu in time.
Yeah, I got to shout out Jonathan for making the dream comeback happen. Got off to the beautiful start in the second game. It was Quincy with a Baimon, conned himself into 7 copies of the Dora, and really shook things up. And Jonathan, in that all last situation, was making the dream happen before that got abruptly cut short. Big props to him for putting himself in position, and of course, all congratulations go to Quincy for locking up that.
Played that well, chased down the dealer Riichi, and even cons into the dealer Riichi. You can't really afford to deal in, but takes it, cons 4 more Dora into the Baimon. That is the highlight reel play here, and Quincy will win the American side of the World Riichi League 2025. Congratulations to Quincy. And I think there may be some celebrations of the Riichi Nomi Club coming up fairly soon.
Oh, I imagine so. Again, huge congratulations. That con, as you said, I would be thinking so hard about that if I was in that situation. Didn't take Quincy that long to decide, and definitely rewarded for the play. Just absolutely fantastic showing by Quincy, and definitely deserving of all the props in the world for putting himself in a position to win, and he did get the win in the end. And what an exciting finals! What an exciting tournament! All the way from the quarterfinals up until the very last moments, there was excitement, ridiculous hands. Thinking about the Chinitsu Suanko that didn't win, the Suiso that was Ishanten. Just an absolutely fantastic set of games that we got to watch today. So,
and then again, the final hunch on there, conning from first place into Dealer Riichi, getting Condor 4 and rewarded ultimately for just all sorts of action the entire way through. But with that, I think we're going to wrap up here. I think we're getting a final plug to the Emily World Riichi US Tour. I'm planning to go. Are you heading there?
Unfortunately, I was not able to make it. But yeah, folks, if you're interested in playing the back-to-back Armel champion, you can definitely tune in. I mean, there's also some M-Leaguers too, if you're interested. But
yeah, there are a lot of better players than me.
Definitely lots of reasons to come out to this tournament. Obviously, the draw of getting the opportunity to play against one of these fantastic M-Leaguers is huge.
There are even M-League players, GPML president. We have streamers, of course. Jen will be there. Commentators, the WRPM pros, a whole bunch of us will be out there in Vegas. So you see the sign up. It's at the end of the month. And of course, it's a 3-day event. I will be missing the first day because getting Friday off work was going to be a gigantic pain. But 2-day tournament for the 27th and 28th. And it'll be lots of stuff. I'm sure there will be signings and all sorts of equipment. I'm told there's a pop-up shop with M-League swag. So for all that and more, Vegas the 26th to 28th, or New York City for a smaller meet and greet event, 29th and 30th.
Yeah, there's even another fun item that got spoiled by Jen earlier. So would love to hear it. The spoilers. Everything is coming out. We're getting a new thing, a new bonus every single week. So check out the beginning of the stream if you missed it for another bonus. It's going to be so much fun. All
right. Well, with that, thanks for watching. And I think we're going to let Jen go to bed now. She's
Let's do it.
been putting in some effort today. So bye all.